So, giving that information out already. But before I call her out, I'd like to just say just a few things about the woman who we're going to be bringing up board. Her name is Mrs. Ibukun Odushote. She's a mother, she's a revolutionary leader. She's the first contact person for the .ng domain. Don't worry, I'm going to be saying a lot of stuff, but you're going to have explanations of that before it is over. And if there's anything that is not clear by the time this summit is over, please walk up to the desk and ask all the questions and said, she mentioned .ng, she mentioned Mira, what are all these things? And we'll be able to clear it for you. All right, so we'd like to welcome or would like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Ibukun Odushote. She's the BOT chairman for NIRA. Please let's put our hands together for her. The woman that we clapped for, that clap is too small. Yes. You see, it's natural. When you clap better, they stand up. So thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah. When you clapped small before, she just did half, like, you're not even sure. When you clapped well, what did you notice? She stood up. All right, so she's a wonderful administrator. She's been in the IT space for so long. Some of you were not even born when she started her journey into ICT. Former ICT director, Yaba College of Technology. She's had her stints even working with Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, and she's also the first contact person, like I said, for the .ng domain. She's a mother, she's an administrator, and she's a lover of technology. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here today. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to also recognize the woman I call, like, I said earlier that we have grandmothers in the house. I said that, right? Okay, good. There's one that has been recognized all over Africa and all over the world. Yes. Some people that know her are already laughing. Okay, she's called Mama Internet, but she's also a grandmother, a proud grandmother who's also grooming NIGDA. I'm going to be asking students a lot of questions. Please, I hope we have prizes for them. I don't know if you know what NIGDA is. Does anybody know what NIGDA is? Among the students, what is NIGDA? Teachers, don't whisper. I'm saying, I don't want. Don't do a jury. Don't whisper to them. What is NIGDA? Anybody? You don't know. You will find out before today is over. Thank you. I'll say it. I'll say what it is. All right, so I want to recognize the DG of NIGDA, represented by Mr. Oladejo Olamuni. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Okay. We also have an NKF board member in our midst. NKF is the Induka Kalu Foundation, and NKF is the reason why we're gathered here today, in case you do not know. And like I said, we'll do a few introductions after this. We have Malam Ado Abdul Rahman. Where is he seated? Okay, all right. He was here earlier. Okay, that's fine. We also want to recognize the DJ of NAPTIP. He sent a representative. So we want to recognize Mr. Titus. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Titus. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. And so, like I said, it's a multi-stakeholder event that we're having. So we're bringing everybody to the table. You're wondering, what is NAPTIP doing in IT events? How many of you are wondering that? Be honest. I like that student. God bless you. Don't worry. You will find out why NAPTIP is here today before we're done. All right. Okay, so also in our midst, he walked in while I had received the list, is the president of Internet Society Nigerian Chapter, Engineer Kunle Landare. Clap. I saw is a big. Thank you so much for listening our occasion. Okay, so I also like to recognize another strong woman. Yes, who is she's just differently configured. I'll use the word configured. It's an IT event, right? She has a nice head. Let me just give her away right away. So they're already looking her direction, right? But forget about her hair. She's not just about the hair. She's a very, very strong woman. She's a hardworking person. And she has also made her mark in the ICT space in Nigeria. She's the CEO of NIRA, like I said, and she's been at every IT event having conversations around child and life safety, around ICT, around a lot of stuff. And I'm glad that she's here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let us also welcome Mrs. Eyitayo Iyoti. Thank you very much. Okay, so you see, you can still be a tech girl and still be cute, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope we're learning a few stuff. All right, so thank you so much. And like I said, as more names come in, I would recognize everybody. Again, there are some schools that are here. Please allow me to quickly welcome those schools. Government Secondary School, Gariki, please rise for recognition. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Government Secondary School, Mabushi, please rise for recognition. Thank you so much. Okay. Government Day Secondary School, Wuse, please rise for recognition. Okay. Government Secondary School, Jabi, please rise for recognition. And Model Secondary School, Metama, please rise for recognition too. Okay, so the school in green and white, what is your own school name? I didn't call you.
Government Secondary School, Tutuwada.
Okay, so please let's give it up to Government Secondary School, Tutuwada. Please rise for recognition. Thank you very much. All right, so please be seated. Thank you very much. I hope I recognize all the schools. Did I miss anybody? Oh, sorry. Please. Apologies. What's your name? What's the name of your school? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, with a rousing ovation, let us welcome Government Secondary School, Wuse Zone 3. Please rise. Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. Final school. Any other school?
Secondary School, Asukoro.
Oh, so, okay. Please, Abide Secondary School, Asukoro, please rise for recognition. Thank you. Okay, finally, there's another school. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Forgive me, please. Forgive me. What's your name, please? Okay, so please, ladies and gentlemen, with a rousing ovation, let us welcome Abide Secondary School, Meitama. Stand up, man. Okay, please sit. Please forgive me. Okay? I don't want to sleep in the bedroom today. Forgive me for meeting your names. All right, so as more names come in, I'll recognize quickly. We have a BOT member of NKF, Dr. Inena Ndukwe. Yes. Please clap very well so she can wave at us more. Please clap so she can wave very well. Thank you. Thank you, you're welcome, ma'am. So please, will everybody be recognized? And please clap for yourselves. Anybody sitting on your seat, clap for that person sitting on your chair. Thank you so much. You are highly recognized. Again, my name is Chinwe Obuja, and it's a great privilege to be co-hosting this event with the rest of us. I'm just privileged to be the one standing on this side, right? All of us are here, and we're also participating in the event. So thank you so much. Straight away, we would like to start with the welcome address. And like I said, I just have a few things to say about the person coming to give us the welcome address, so that we know that we're actually blessed to have her in our midst today. The person we're going to call up now is a mother. Like I said, she's a mother. She's somebody who has paid her dues in the ICT space over the years. She was ICT director in my alma mater.
Distinguished speakers, key players, and participants who have joined us for this critical summit. This is a summit we would have had many years ago, maybe about 3 years ago. COVID stopped us from having this summit in 2020, 2021. It was still tough to carry this out, but I want to congratulate the NKF board that now we can have this program. Before we delve into the vital discussions on child online safety, protection, and reporting of abuse in Nigeria, I would like to take a moment to reflect on the remarkable journey of the Ndukwe Kalu Foundation. Founded with the vision of creating a safer digital space for children, the NKF has been at the forefront of initiatives promoting online safety and protection. While I was the chairperson of the NKF, I don't know, I just wanted you to know I was chairman at the time. we witnessed tremendous growth and impact in our efforts to create awareness and implement programs aimed at safeguarding children in the digital realm. The foundation at that time undertook initiatives that significantly contributed to the discourse on child online safety, laying the foundation for the crucial work we are progressing with in the summit today. The commitment of the NKF to this cause has been unwavering, and I'm proud to see the foundation's legacy live on in the ongoing pursuit of a safer online environment for children. As we gather here today, it's important to acknowledge the progress made in previous webinars that have set the stage for this summit. The discussions on digital literacy, safety and privacy, and multi-stakeholder responsibilities in online safety have been instrumental in shaping our understanding of the challenges and opportunities in this evolving landscape. We extend our gratitude to the panelists and key players who shared their insights during these webinars, paving the way for a more comprehensive and informed dialogue at COSPRA Summit 2023. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the key players and panelists who have graciously accepted our invitation to contribute to the discourse at the summit. Your presence here underscores the collaborative spirit that is essential in addressing the multifaceted issues surrounding child online safety. In this line, I want to especially recognize NCC, NITDA, NAPTIP, all these organizations. They have so much to do, and they have set their time to come and be part of this. So we appreciate them. Please, let's put our hands together again. And there are also organizations that are in the forefront of ensuring child online safety. So they have quite a number of activities that they carry out in their own organizations to pave the way for the kind of thing we are doing today. This COSPRA Summit must give the children a clear understanding of their own responsibility and cooperation for their online protection. So I hope the young people that are here would recognize that it's all about you and a lot about your generation, that the protection that we are crying out for is that you will be safe, while also ensuring that the government, as represented by those organizations I've mentioned and some that I didn't even mention, parents and caregivers prioritize online safety in their engagement with young people. As we embark on the summit, let us remain committed to our shared goal of creating a safe and secure online environment for the youngest members of our society. Together, we can make a lasting impact and ensure that every child can explore the digital world with confidence and without fear. Our greatest desire is that they are protected and their voice is heard when necessary. One of the things that is all over the place is that you want the voice of the children, the voice of the vulnerable to be heard. And it also means you need to speak out. You need to speak up. So, shout. Thank you, and I look forward to the enriching discussions that will unfold over the course of COSPRA Summit 2023. I hereby declare COSPRA Summit 2023 open for valuable contributions to the cause of children on the internet. Welcome, and God bless you.
For a chairperson, not good enough. our hands together. Let's rise. She deserves it, please. To still remain relevant and strong and having conversations. Thank you so much, Ma, for that talk. Thank you so much. Please, let's put our hands together again for Mrs. Thank you very much. Don't worry, don't be tired of clapping. We'll soon be full, eh? Don't worry. But please, you know the thing about life is, as you continue to clap for others, what you're doing is that you're creating an atmosphere so that when it is your turn, right, people will also clap for you. I hope you know that. That's how it works. That's how it works. That's how nature has created everything. So please don't be tired of clapping. And you're clapping for good people, okay? You're clapping for people who are making impact. You should be excited to be in this room clapping. All right? So thank you so much, Ma, for that. We would take a break from the good messages, and we have a video. We put together a documentary, a mini documentary, so that we have understanding of what we're doing today. We'll also do more recognitions as we go. While we wait for them to tidy the documentary, I'll just do a few recognitions. We'd like to recognize Government Secondary School Apo, and let us put our hands together for them. All right, so we also like to recognize Mrs. Ariola Akinyemi. She's the CEO, Gigi Sphere Limited. She's the Vice Chair, West Africa ICT Alliance. Okay, that was a lot, right? When she walked in, would you have believed that she was all of that? So it's like that. She's a big woman, though. This woman started long ago. Also, I'd like to recognize the presence of the NIRA president. He just walked in quietly. Please, let's put our hands together for him. You're welcome, sir. His name is Mr. Adeshola Akinsoye. He's a big man, too. I will explain what NIRA is and what everything is after the video. Are we ready with the video now? Can we confirm to me that we're ready with the video? All right, so if we're not ready with the video, I just want to maybe explain a few acronyms. Okay, the video is ready, so enjoy the video while you wait. Thank you very much.
My name is Mrs. Mary Mauduma. I am the chairperson of the Independent Foundation established by Nigerian Child Registration Association to give back to the society. It is the corporate social responsibility arm of the Nigerian Child Registration Associations. Our focus is child safety online, skill building for youth and women, research on domain name system. We want as many young people as possible to be part of the industry called domain name industry.
Appreciate the Kano Foundation for organizing these trainings in our schools, how to educate our children and teachers. It's a good thing. We've never had that before, so we are happy to have such.
A lot of challenges are being faced by Nigerian children as far as online safety is concerned. These days, it's becoming more difficult. Why is it difficult? Because sometimes you don't even know who you are dealing with. Recently, I think the government is doing a lot. NGOs, CSOs, and others are also trying their best to make sure that our online space is safe for our children.
Of recent, I think 2 years ago, NCC came up with a program that they want to come up with an act that will be specific in looking at how children are protected online. And there are a lot of stakeholders that they have brought into the equation to take the process and the program further. We want to bring stakeholders together, have a conversation on the way forward to make sure that everyone that has interaction with a child would also have interaction or would also be part of the process of making sure the child that is going online is protected. From this summit, we'll hope that all the stakeholders will contribute to the process and the sensitization will go beyond just the summit.
There is need for online safety, but we also need policy frameworks with which to regulate them, and that is where the NCC is coming in. Also, I know that there's a bit of collaboration with most of the social media platforms we have to ensure they put consideration to the safety of children online?
We've had several policies that the government has put in place, right from which have the Nigerian Online Child Protection Policy, several other policies. And we had also a policy which I was privileged to be part of those that actually drafted the policy, which is called the National Child Online Policy Protection and Strategy 2023, which was actually passed by the Federal Executive Council in February this year. The government has actually engaged a lot of tech companies, both local and then international tech companies.
In terms of the gap when it comes to digital literacy, there are a few of them. There is a lack of digital infrastructure. There is a severe lack of ICT strategies and policies. We also have the gap between rural and urban communities, where a set of these communities have electricity, have a better socioeconomic status, have better access to devices, data plans, and such. And the truth is, these schools in particular are not going to prioritize digital literacy when it is seen as having a negative social impact. So where their poverty levels are to an extent, they would focus on what they determine to be their needs, which would be electricity, food, etc. It then behoves on the government to focus on providing said needs so that they can begin to prioritize digital literacy.
There is this move towards digital literacy. And it's one of the core skills that we teach in schools that our children should imbibe. They become digital literate and global citizens. In fact, presently, FCT said is training teachers on digital literacy. And by doing that, the children will be educated, they also become digital literate. I think at the end of the day, in fact, in FCT, we are trying to move from the paper to paperless.
Currently, there is the content policy. That means to ensure that the content is rated 18 plus, 12 plus, 10 plus, so that the content will be rated per your age. As we all know, most of the social media platforms do not even allow you to have an account without being up to the age of consent, which is about 18. However, if you have to do that for whatever reason, there are contents that are restricted, even for adults.
The Federal Executive Council in January of 2023 adopted a child's online policy as well, which is going to be helpful in guiding state governments in protecting children's rights.
From the reports we're getting in the media organization, you can see a lot of threats against children, and especially also teenagers and then young adults.
So prevalent threats that children face online, one would be cyberbullying. Second is they face a lot of issues when it comes to predators. So the predators might be sexual predators or people who are aiming them for financial issues. There's also an issue of the child's privacy. And then children are more susceptible to downloading malware or getting scammed on the internet, really. So those are the most prevalent issues that children face when it comes to online threats.
Right now, Nigeria, as it were, is not 100% equipped to tackle such. Though we're doing quite well, the government is doing quite well, the law enforcement agencies are really putting in their best. But as we know, technology evolves. So for the agencies to be able to be up to date, they also need to evolve with the evolving technology.
Generally speaking, mental health is something that is evolving in Nigeria. Usually when people hear mental health, they think it has to do with people being mad, and so they're not really willing to come forward to seek mental health. But that's generally speaking. However, in terms of children who suffer online abuse, there's no structure that I'm aware of that caters specifically to children who have these issues. However, I know that we have quite a number of psychiatric hospitals that have child and adolescent psychiatrists who are well equipped to handle these issues. But as to structure, there's no particular place.
Thank God for the department we have, which is called the Counseling and Rehabilitation Department, which actually takes care of issues to give psychosocial support, rehabilitation for victims. So try to see how we can infuse that into the system, right? From the resources we have from the department and others, I think they've been able to support because they are already trained counselors that we have here. Because as you know, NAPTI, one of our core agencies, not just arrests, not just prosecution, and not just investigation, but we are the department that is saddled with the responsibility of taking care of victims. So, and that is called the counseling and rehabilitation. So they do that. But for the other ones, the human trafficking, that has been here as well, already good hands, professionals that are handling that. But this is an emerging crime for NAPTI and for Nigeria.
Some children in senior secondary school do ICT and data processing and all that, but digital citizenship has not been included in the curriculum. And I think that this is something that is really important. A lot of our children are exposed to the internet, a lot of devices very early. So I think that this should be included in the curriculum as early as the primary school years, maybe mid-level, from the time they're 7, 8 and all those, so that they can, understand what internet is all about. Parents need to play a proper supervisory role so that they are supervising their children well. They're ensuring that their children have some regulations, have some restrictions online. They're the ones who are in the best position to, speak to their children and tell their children about online safety. I'm aware that there's some applications that can restrict what sites children go to on the internet. So these are some of the things that parents can do to, promote online safety.
Let's see how we can join and train the teachers and train their parents, train the law enforcement agencies, train the lawmakers, train the policy makers, and also the children themselves. Catch them young, give them, train them on how to protect themselves as well, and how to report when they are bullied online. We need to do that, and that's the essence of it.
Thank you. All right, so well done. Thank you to the team that put all of that together. So straight away, we'll just go straight to the NKF Impact Review. And to do this is no other person than the NKF chairperson, Mrs. Mary Uduma. Let's put our hands together as we welcome her to the podium. Thank you. Please clap very well so that the Impact Review will be impactful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I am a digital migrant. I'm a grandmother, and I'm interested in having our young people solve the web, do everything they want to do with the internet, and yet stay safe and protected. That is very, very important. On that note, I want to stand on the existing protocols. There are some people that were not here when we recognized, when the chairperson of she was the first chairperson of Ndukwekan Foundation, and as the chairperson of Nigerian Internet Registration Association, BOT. She recognized some people, but others walked in while she had done that. And we want to specially recognize the president of Nigeria Internet Registration Association, and you can read the young people. Sure. Thank you very much. And we have also, I think we are going to introduce her better. This woman of faith, of ICT, of capacity building, and she is passionate about the technology and internet in Nigeria. And Dr. Wumi Hassan, you are welcome. Thank you for coming. She works in the space of women development, women ICT development. I think she's teaching women to code. She's teaching women to do, what is it called? Solar panel. Solar panel. So, and other things she's doing. Maybe when she will introduce herself better. So you are welcome. And Nena. Nena is Nena, Dr. Nena Ndukwe Carlo. You can see we have Ndukwe Carlo Foundation. So she is the wife of our first president in Nigerian Internet Registration Association, and she represents the family in the Ndukwe Carlo Foundation. Nena, you are welcome. Thank you, all the way from Lagos. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, young people. I don't know whether somebody is from the women. Can you confirm whether Ministry of Women Affairs? Okay, maybe she's still coming. We invited them to be here. You are all welcome. The chairperson of Nigerian Internet Registration Association, BOT, had laid the foundation and said a lot about what the Carlo Foundation is all about. So the NKF, what impact? The impact I can say here is that you are seated here, the young people are here, teachers are here, the policymakers are here, the technology companies are here, the developers are here, and who is left? Nobody. The regulators are here, and NAPTIP is here, and that is the essence. We want, it is a multi-stakeholder process where we want everybody to be part of shaping how our children can be protected online. They can use the technology and yet be protected and be safe while they are using the technology. That is it. She already mentioned to us that we had webinars, and actually this foundation was inaugurated in June 2021, and Mrs. Odushote was the chair of the BOT, and we have gone to work, and we have made some press statements. Before the inauguration, there was visiting of orphanages by the past president of Nigerian Internet Registration Association. It happened in 2020, but there was COVID, 2021, not much happened, but by 2022, we started in earnest to be able to reach out to the world and reach out to students, reach out to teachers, reach out to lawmakers, reach out to policymakers as well, and regulators. So we have three-pronged areas of focus. First is the protection of the children online and making sure they are safe online. That is very, very key to us. And that's what has brought us together here. So we have held webinars, and then this is the flagship program we are doing. We hope to be doing this every year, but this is the start of the kickoff. The first year we are doing it, and we continue to do that. And as I said, we have three-pronged focus. The protecting children online and making sure children are safe even when they use the technology. Second one is entrepreneurship and talented young Nigerian ICT development. So we have done some work with young people, and we did during the African Internet Governance Forum that happened in Nigeria. We sponsored some young people to attend, to be able to participate and get knowledge, expand their community, expand their network, and it was successful. We have done some trainings and building capacity in young people. We are also doing sponsorship. We do sponsorship and we do collaboration. We are going to be collaborating with other people, and we have started already. There will be one that will happen in the next 1.5 weeks. It's a collaboration with the government of Nigeria in training webmasters in ministries and departments and agencies of government. We are strong in capacity building. We want to build the capacity of the young people, catching them young first, and also showing them or teaching them or exposing them to know that there is business in domain name. As we were told, the mother organization of this foundation is Nigerian Internet Registration Association, the managers of .ng. Who have heard about .ng? You have heard about .ng? Oh, you have heard about .com? Yes. People. President, can you hear? People don't know about .ng, they know about .com. So, there's business in .ng. Young people, you can be a student and be making some money from registering people online, registering domain name. And when you register, you get some commission for registering. So we have registrars. They are registrars of Nigerian Internet Registration Association, which you can attach yourself to and you become their reseller. Okay? So if not the student, all other people that are here, you can do business in domain name business. But we are asking you to come online. We are also interested in how you can stay online and be safe. So the essence is that at the end of these conversations, we want to take back. Yesterday we were in National Assembly. We went for a public hearing because the chairperson or the chairman of Senate Committee on ICT and Cybersecurity called for this public hearing. They want to review the Cybercrime Act of 2015. Review 2019, updated 2018. So they want to review it, and so many people made contributions. And in section 23 of that act, it talks about child pornography, where we now said it's not only pornography. There are more to protect the children than just pornography. It's not pornography. We have a lot. We have the predators, as somebody has said. I think somebody said it online, predators. And we have those that have recruited our children online for terrorism. We can remember, if you can remember, there was, the young people may not know, but those of us that are adults, you remember Mutalab? Is it Mutalab? Yes, Mutalab. You know he was recruited online, and he went for training for terrorism outside Nigeria. And now he was to bomb an airline, American airline. So he was caught. I think he's still there. I don't know what has happened to him. But we have also seen Cynthia. Can anybody remember Cynthia? That was lured from Edo to Lagos, and she was killed. What happened? It was online. It wasn't that the phone, but it was online. And so many other things that are happening that we don't know. So our conversation today, our recommendation, I am looking forward to us coming up with recommendations that will send back to these people that want to review the act so that it will be more comprehensive. And attention will be given to child online protection. We are asking people to imbibe or embrace technology, work online, work digitally. So how safe are we, even as we use this digital technology? I think this is what we at the kind of foundation want to make sure that we are there. We are also interested in you doing business, getting capacitated to do business of the domain name and technology. And some business people are here, they can teach you more. And also, there is the next strategy which we also look at, or another focus, that is DNS. DNS means domain name system. DNS, domain name system research. We want made in Nigeria for Nigeria and exported from Nigeria. So build capacity of young people, build capacity of those in the university, build capacity of those that are in tertiary institutions to be able to develop softwares that we can use in domain name system business or registry. So those are the three-pronged focus of the Kano Foundation, and we have been working on that, and we hope to continue to work. Your recommendation today will help us to know where to focus more. And for this, I say thank you for coming, and we want to say that it is an open process. No question is wrong, no question is right. No answer is right, no answer is wrong. Yesterday, the chairman said, you cannot have the total answer. What you say is your own focus, might be another person's focus. And we have to help one another to see that whatever we put in place, whatever law, whatever policy, whatever development that are there to protect our children online, we are all part of it, and we make it happen for Nigeria. My name is Mary, popularly known as Mama Internet. I am a grandmother. Some of you are my grandchildren here, but I've decided not to retire. I've decided not to keep quiet until you take over from me. Somebody must take over and continue this. Somebody must take over and continue this. So I want to sit back after now and see you young people go ahead and fly our flag. Yesterday, the chairman of the Senate Committee on ICT said, I saw this woman in Kyoto, Japan. She made us proud. So I want you to make us proud globally, at West Africa level, at Africa level, at global level. This is your award, children. This is your award. This is your call. We want you to perform creditably and also make sure that you gain from what the technology presents, what internet presents. We want internet access in your school. Is there a school that does not have internet access? Let's see. Is there a school? Internet access? Which school is that? Have you heard? Okay, so NIRA, they don't have internet access. So please, catch NIRA's president and NIRA's COO. They must bring internet to their school. Yeah. Model Army Day School, you don't have internet access? Oh, okay. So you get to Chinwe. If they don't have, by the time we come again next year, we don't want to hear there's a school without internet access. Okay? So that is what we want to say. Thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together again. Especially those getting internet. Come on, celebrate! Okay, so thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. It's always a delight listening to you. I know she had a lot more to say, but because of time, we had to cut it short. Amide Secondary School, Mogadishu Cantonment, right? That was the first person who spoke. I see there's an issue we need to address. When they said how many people didn't have internet, only one person spoke up. Then suddenly, when there's a prospect for them to be provided with internet, more people started speaking up. If it was just one slot, he's gotten the slot already, and that would have just been it. So please learn to take your chances, right? Learn to take your chances. So thank you so much. Like she has said, we'll try and see what we can do. We're not going to promise you too many things, but she has said it. Nira and the rest will make it happen. Let's put our hands together for them as they make it happen. All right, thank you. All right, so we have a special address from the Director General and CEO of NIDA, Kashifu Inuwa Abdullah ACCIE. but he's being represented today by Mr. Oladejo Olawumi. So let's put our hands together as he comes forward to do the special address. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Chairman BOT of NERA, Mrs. Bukun Obishote, the chairperson of Undukwe Kalu Foundation, Mrs. Mary Duma, the president of NERA, Mr. Adeshola Kesaya, the COO, she's not here right now. Okay, Itayo, not him. Representatives of NAPTI, NCC, and Dr. Obi Hassan, good morning. Dr. Nena Ukwekalu, students and participants, good morning. Permit me to stand on other existing protocols. I have to mention those because students, I must say you are very lucky to have some titans in the house today, the lady titans. And I want you to really appreciate the fact that they are here with you today and make most use of the opportunity. These are women who have been in the industry for years and they are here to share their experience with you. So it's a unique opportunity which many years down the line you have reason to give thanks for it. Before I go into the speech, I also want to mention that Mrs. Mary Duma mentioned the fact that she's a migrant in IT space. You are natives, you are born into the digital world right now. So that is another reason why we are here today, to talk about how to protect you online. Because there are other issues, apart from what she has mentioned, that are also inherent in the use of the internet space. Things like the addiction that comes with it and other negative things. So, once more, I congratulate you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Oladejo Olawumi. I'm representing the DGCO of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. And I bring you greetings from there. But just listen carefully, students. Thank you very much. May peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you. It is indeed a great honor to be at this event today, as it provides a platform where those of us in this fast-paced digital technology era find time to come together to deliberate on current issues with the intention of profiling innovative solutions to challenges we are exposed to by virtue of our adoption of the same technology meant to serve us. I also wish to thank the conveners. Your work continues to keep the memory of Undukwe Kalu alive. His contribution to the IT space in Nigeria will always be remembered. The work of this foundation is therefore highly appreciated by NITDA. The topic of discussion today is apt and timely, as it helps to delve on the challenges inherent in the fast-paced digital technology space, with focus on protecting our children online. We must not shy away from addressing the potential risks children are exposed to on their innocent journeys online and other digital platforms. Two of the 8 priority areas of the Renewed Hope agenda of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are security, fairness, and rule of law. To align to this, therefore, the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation, and Digital Economy recently launched the Strategic Action Plan, which has policy and knowledge as 2 of its 5 major pillars. NITDA, in furtherance of these, and based on its mandate of developmental regulation, is committed to ensure that as digital technologies become more ubiquitous in availability and usage in our everyday lives, effective regulatory instruments in forms of standards, guidelines, and strategies are created to safeguard children and young people from potential risks and harmful content while they navigate the internet. We have realized that securing the safety of our children online necessitates a multi-dimensional which requires policy initiatives, digital solutions coupled with awareness creation. This is because so many factors are at play, which include regulations, safety from harmful content, preventing cyberbullying, digital literacy and education, privacy and data protection, tools and technologies, parental involvement, support services and helplines, and collaborations both nationally and globally. Together, we need to achieve a safer online environment where children can explore, learn, and socialize without being exposed to harmful content or risks. Major rationales for developing regulations include planning through protection of future generations' interests. It includes human rights through protection of weaker citizens, and it includes social protection in form of social solidarity. These are key regulatory issues of concern if we are keen on safeguarding our children's activities online. NIDA is encouraged by the diversity of stakeholders involved here today in discussing child online protection, safety, and reporting of abuse, as it indicates that the major ingredient of collaboration between government, law enforcement agencies, educators, tech companies, and non-profit organizations, which is key in developing comprehensive strategies and resources to protect children online, is already in place. It is worthy of note that the Ndukwe Kanu Foundation is the series of involving stakeholders from all 6 geopolitical zones of the country, because the awareness needs to be taken to all corners of our country. The Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, in line with the UNICEF campaign for protecting children online, in 2022, inaugurated the National Committee on the development of a unified national strategy on child online protection. NIDA, NCC, NAPTIP, who are here today, and other civil society representatives and stakeholders were members of that committee, and they developed the National Child Online Protection Policy and Strategy, NCOPS, by harmonizing existing local frameworks, legal instruments, and initiatives as it relates to online safety for children. The NCOPS document was approved by the Federal Executive Council on January 25, 2023. The NCOPS also meets the International Telecommunications Union, ITU, guidelines on child online protection, COP, and other international initiatives to ensure children's safe use of the internet, and it is an essential step towards safeguarding children in the digital space. The NCOPS has 11 strategic thrusts, which include governance and implementation, legal and regulatory, stakeholder engagement, national awareness, capacity building, responding and support, security and law, policy makers, ICT industry, research and international cooperation. The Nigerian Data Protection Regulation is also an initiative of NIDA, and is also key in the fight to protect the exposure of the child by ensuring that the child's data and privacy is protected. This has gone a long way in safeguarding the child, and it is believed that the Nigerian Data Protection Commission's work on data protection and privacy will further help in the fight against child online abuse. We also need to use this opportunity to discuss and plan for the eventuality that a child gets exposed online. How do we manage the child who inadvertently gets exposed to cyberbullying? There needs to exist adequate support services to provide the much needed counseling. This could be in form of helplines, which can provide the much needed support to maintain the child's mental and emotional well-being. This brings to fore the major issues of reporting online child abuse when and if it occurs, as even this has to be managed in order not to further harm the child. Online reporting platforms, law enforcement, hotline usage therefore need to be adequately managed. Finally, as we realize that avoiding the internet and social media platforms is no longer possible, we need to encourage the safe use of the internet, educate children and their caregivers about safe internet practices, including being cautious about sharing personal information and reporting any concerning interactions. We are therefore all involved in this fight to protect our children and future generations, and need that we continue to support initiatives and collaborations which seek to further drive the protection of our children online. I thank you for your kind attention and wish you happy deliberations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for him. Thank you so much. Okay, so for the summit keynote speech, to be done by Dr. Aminu Meida, EVC CEO NCC, represented by Dr. Ibiso Kingsley George. Let's put our hands together for her. She comes forward. Thank you very much. You better clap well. It's NCC. Let's clap, let's clap, let's clap.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here on behalf of, I bring you greetings from the Executive Vice Chairman, Nigerian Communications Commission, Dr. Aminu Meida. Please permit me to stand on existing protocols so that I don't have to read out all the names. Special recognition to all our special guests and those who have found time to be here today. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, our dear students. We are gathered here today at this esteemed summit to discuss a matter of utmost importance in today's digital age, safeguarding our children's well-being and happiness while they navigate the vast realm of the internet. The Nigerian Communications Commission's dedication to child online safety and protection has been unparalleled in Nigeria. This is due to the commitment the Commission has shown in creating awareness as regards child online safety and security of Nigerian children. Over the years, we have facilitated child online protection sensitization campaigns to over 20 schools and religious centers across the country through various initiatives like the Parenting 101 for Digital Citizens Training. We have also sensitized parents and digital citizens towards understanding the huge importance of creating a safe online space for children. In addition, the Commission has translated the International Telecommunications Union's Child Online Protection Guidelines into Pidgin, Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo to facilitate the seamless transmission of the message across the country. In addition, the Commission chaired the national committee that developed the National Child Online Protection Policy and Strategy. Online safety is like being careful in a new place you are not familiar with. Allow me to share a couple of relatable points with you to give a better understanding of what online safety is all about. Here I talk to our dear children. Online safety, do not overshare. Online safety is all about not giving away too much. Just like you would not tell a stranger on the street your home address. Don't share personal details online. It's like keeping your personal space safe. Digital armor, strong passwords. Think of your online accounts like secret treasure chests. To protect them, use strong and unique passwords. It's like having a strong lock on your school box or your bike at home. You do not want anyone meddling with your stuff. Reporting trouble, speak up at all times. If you ever see something online that does not seem right or makes you uncomfortable, do not keep it to yourself. It's like when you see someone getting picked on at school, you will tell the teacher, right? Online, you can report it to a trusted adult or use reporting tools on the platform. It takes a digital village. In Nigeria, we say it takes a village to raise a child. That's true in the online space too. Your parents, teachers, and friends are all parts of your digital village. Talk to them about your online adventures, just like you would share stories about your day. Be a digital hero. Remember, the internet is amazing for learning and connecting with friends, but you need to be a digital hero. Be kind, respect privacy, and do not let anyone bully you or your friends online. Reporting any online trouble is a brave thing to do. In conclusion, we are on a mission to make the internet safe and fun place for you, our wonderful children, who will shape the future of our country. Today, you will learn valuable knowledge that will empower you to become internet heroes. With this power, you can help create a digital world free from harm, where everyone can learn, connect, and enjoy themselves safely. Your journey begins now, or maybe it has already begun. Together, we can make the internet a place of endless possibilities. Thank you for listening, and let's work together to keep the internet safe. Thank you.
Let's put our hands together again for her. That was very... Thank you so much, ma'am. Straight to the point. Be a digital hero. Don't share secrets. Thank you so much. All right, we have a few good messages, but I'm not sure they are here. Is there anybody from the Ministry of Women Affairs here? Okay, nice. And we also do not have a representative from the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovations, and Digital Economy. Anybody from there now? Okay, so while we wait and hope that they arrive at some point before the event is over, we will move on to the tea break and executive photo session. And so we're going to have, for the photo session, photographer, please, where are you? All the executives and all the VIPs and everybody in the house, we will have a photo session here. So I would rely on the photographer to advise us on where to stay for the photo session and how we're going to take the pictures before, especially the dignitaries and the VIPs. So please, where's the photographer, the official photographer for the event? Can anybody get him for me, please? Ushers, get us the photographer. Okay, so that we warm up to take our pictures now. So please come, where do you advise that we take the pictures? Okay, just there. Okay, so please, all the dignitaries in front, please come forward for the photo session. While he's saying here, yeah, so, sorry ma'am. So please, I think he's requesting that we all come to the podium. Please, let's come to the podium to take the pictures. Yes. And is the tea break ready? Are we ready? Can we get the caterers? Okay. Okay, so that's fine. So while the pictures are being taken, let us prepare to go for tea break. So thank you so much. Let's put our hands together again for this wonderful set of people. Don't worry, keep clapping. One day to be you on the podium and people are clapping for you. Trust me, it will happen. All right. Okay, so let's come forward. But students, have we learned anything so far? I'll be talking to you, don't worry. The pictures, the sound is not going to affect the pictures, don't worry. While they are doing their thing, we're doing our thing. Have we learned anything so far? Can anybody now tell me, I'm going to say like 4 different acronyms. If you're bold and you're ready to be a hero on behalf of your school, right? You come up and tell me. So I want to tell me the meaning of NCC, I want to tell me the meaning of NICTA, I want to tell me the meaning of NERA, and I want to tell me the meaning of NKF. Anybody? The bold? Oh, fantastic. Oh my God. Okay, your hand went up first. Come. Please, can we give her the mic? Sound engineer, please, I need an extra mic. Do we need to move the podium? If we need to move it, I can get people to move it. Is that fine? Okay. Please, I need volunteers, students, just 2 of you, 2 men that can help us move this thing. Please come. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Please, let's go quickly. Just hold on and move it. I'm getting people to come and move the podium so that the pictures... The lady... Thank so much. Please let me move the podium just so that the pictures can be. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you so much. Just stay here so that I need to move it back if I need to move it back. Thank you so much. No, the rest of us. So everybody look at the photographer on the riser. Yes, I like you. You're smart.
Excuse me, sir. No, you. All right. Okay. Okay, well. Okay, one more. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. All the delegates, it's your turn now, please. Everybody, yes. This is an epoch-making event. We're making history, so we can as well make the history well. So please, all the delegates, let's come forward. Thank you very much. Let's come forward, please. Students, please. The way you walk in your class, walk like that now. I permit you. Walk like that. No, seriously, do it. Just walk quick. Please, the beautiful lady, just come forward. So all the delegates, please come. Yeah, so students, you can go for your tea break now. You see, we're pampering you. Today's your day. Go first. You are the VIPs for today. So all the students, go for tea break. Thank you very much. Please, all the delegates, just do us the honors of coming to take a picture. Don't worry, they'll post the pictures. You can download your own copies. Not a problem. So thank you so much. Let's come. Thank you. So what we're having our 10th year, 20th year, 30th year, we frame this picture and put it up. And these were the people that can be there for the first time. The students, please, you can go for tea break now. Thank you, everybody. Just file out. Go for your tea. Thank you. So let's go this way. Thank you very much to our delegates and dignitaries. Thank you. We are dignitaries too. Thank you so much.
See, please, can you spread, sir?
You can come up.
You can spread,
You
yeah,
can
you can
come
spread
to
to
the
that.
podium.
Just spread to that
Yes.
side. Yes. I'll see you there.
Please, if you are all right, let's put our hands together for them too. So thank you so much, Ma, for being here for us. After giving us a speech, we have the opportunity to also ask you a question. Thank you. We are happy. Please let's put our hands together for Dr. Ibiso Kingston. You see, it's not easy to climb this podium, let me tell you the truth. If you see those stairs, right? If you are not digitally literate, you can fall down there. Because it requires a lot of calculation. And so let's put our hands together for the women who have successfully climbed. Thank you. Okay, so we also have on our panel the wonderful woman who is doing what is not easily a woman's thing to do. So she's teaching how to do solar panel. Please, me, I want to learn how to do solar panel. All right, so let's put our hands together for Dr. Wumi Hassan, President CEO, High Tech Center for Nigerian Women and Youth. Yay! last person on the panel is Ms. Ariola Akiyemi, CEO, Didisfair Limited. Thank you so much, Ma. You can join the panel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's clap. So these are strong women who have, among these women, they have over 30 years. I'm just being modest. Over 30 years of experience behind their belts. Let's put our hands together for them again. And so, I'm happy to hand over to you so you can do your job. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for our wonderful MC this morning. She's done an amazing job so far. Good morning, everyone. Standing on existing protocol, I am very privileged to be sitting here. And my name is Moreni Keji Olonilua. I am sitting for my boss, Mr. Rotimi Olawale, who is unavoidably absent. Please, a round of applause for my boss in Essential. He sent his warm regards. He would have really loved to be here, but I'll be doing justice to the assignment today. Well, you're welcome to this panel session, and please, a round of applause for my beautiful mommies and my auntie who is sitting right here on the panel stage. Okay, so we'll start with the first question, and I will start with you, Khadijat. Now, the current landscape of the digital literacy in Nigeria, especially as it concerns the Nigerian child, could you give us a sense as to what it looks like right now? If you can marry it from what it used to be perhaps 20 years ago when mommy internet was new in the space, and where is it right now?
Thank you very much for that, and thank you for having me. So, in terms of the digital literacy landscape, it's very interesting that, like many things in Nigeria, there have been a lot of disjointed efforts. Somebody is doing something here, somebody is doing something there. And to be able to find what the landscape would look like, let's say we're speaking to the legal landscape, we would have to be looking at different documents to get the tits and bits of what it is that we're looking for. Legally, if you're looking for anything that is about the Nigerian child, you'll be looking at the Child's Rights Act. But how much of that makes mention of education and digital literacy? A lot of the time, Nigeria is playing catch-up. But my favorite thing is that, I think it was mentioned in the video, very recently there was the Ministry of Education has a policy in that regard. You'd also find a policy that was adopted by, I believe it was NCC with NIPDA and multi-stakeholder engagements, speaking to digital literacy. I've also been in a room where the Ministry of Education was working on a gender education policy where digital literacy is passively mentioned. But like I said, it's in tits and bits in different documents here and there, but not necessarily that there is one place to find everything, or that it has necessarily been the priority. But we're getting to a place where you will find that, of course, since the pandemic, before the pandemic, we did not see a picture when it comes to, especially online education for children. You would find that it was, of course, a certain class of children who continued their education while it was stalled for a big number of others. And of course, at that point, we started to play catch-up. We suddenly saw the importance of digital literacy, getting people online, getting more children to have access to computers and things like that. So that is generally where we are, and you would just find it in the little places here and there. A policy here mentioning digital literacy, a policy there, but there isn't one accessible document that ties everything together.
Thank you very much. Please a round of applause for her. I'd like to ask a question to our students. Is there a course, or no, course sounds like university, is there a subject in school that addresses digital literacy? Anybody, and what it is called? Yes, please.
Data processing.
Take that again?
Data processing.
Data processing. Is that the same thing you were going to tell me?
No.
Okay,
ICT.
go ahead.
ICT.
ICT. How many times in the week do you get the class?
Once.
How practical is the class? Okay, so this is why we're having this discussion. So all critical stakeholders are taking notes, and we'll find this, will give birth to progress as we go. Now, my next question will be to you, Dr. Ibiso Kingsley George. Access to the internet is a right of the Nigerian child. How do we ensure proper accessibility and integration of digital skills into the Nigerian education? Now, there are already subjects that are addressing digital literacy, but my question will be, is it doing enough? How well is it doing? And how best can we make use the subjects that are already in play?
Thank you for the question. I'll commence by going back and looking at the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy. I think prior to the onslaught of COVID-19, the COVID-19 disease, that document was already launched. So it appears like the Honorable Minister at that time saw, maybe he saw the future, that it was going to be important. And the second pillar of that document is on digital literacy and skills. And for Nigerians, for every Nigerian, every Nigerian in every walk of life, I think, to have access. Now, what have we done to drive access as government? One of the things we have done is we also have a broadband policy that speaks to access to infrastructure. So, and pillar 3 of the index also speaks to access, like solid infrastructure, which is the basis on which any other thing is available. So if the NCC has seen that as the ministry and its organizations under it has seen that as a very important, seen it as very important, at least there's a way forward. However, I'd also like to state that the NCC has done several projects that has spoken to, we are not in the education space. However, our corporate social responsibility has spread across education. We've done things in terms of having access in secondary schools by providing digital, through our digital awareness program, which provides laptops and a computer lab in schools. I think a couple of schools within Abuja have had access through that means. And then what we have done in very recent times, we have collaborated with the Ministry of Education, and then we saw that need that came with COVID, that while the private schools were able to have access, the public schools did not have access. But now you ask again, as I said, NCC is not in the education space, but how far can the NCC go? So what the NCC has done, we started with federal government colleges, and we have deployed digital learning facilities in 6 federal government colleges within the 6 geopolitical zones of this country. In doing that, we also trained the teachers, because another thing that is lacking is the teachers, the access that teachers have, and their adaptability to digital skills. How many teachers are digitally enabled? So the training involved teachers as well as the students to onboard them onto the Google Workspace for Education platform. I don't know if I'm taking too much time, but another thing is, now within that workspace, when we talk about access to child online protection, the devices that are used within that workspace do not allow you to access any other platform as far as you're within the school and you're within the Google Workspace for Education platform. What we also did was incorporate the curriculum the syllabus of the Nigerian secondary school syllabus, working with the Ministry of Education. So we have started with 6 schools. But another thing is continuity, willingness of the schools to expand and look at that network as a way to increase access. But we're talking about federal government colleges, which are just, I think, 104 or 102. What about the other schools? What about the school in my village? Do they not deserve access? And then we also did a training with the National Teachers Institute in Kaduna to train teachers, and we did the first phase. I think we're on the second phase right now. So you can see that the NCC, even though the NCC is not in the education space, the NCC has seen education as important for national development, and is trying to catch into it. We also would like to look at the policy of the Honorable Minister of Communication and Innovation and Digital Economy. His first pillar, the pillar of his strategic blueprint, the first pillar of the strategic blueprint is knowledge. So you see, it cuts across everywhere. It's important to us as a country, it's important to us as government, but we are not in the education space. We can just support. And I think the willingness to support is there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for her. Thank you so much, Dr. Lisa Kingsley-George. And I want to trust that relevant ministries, including the Ministry of Education, is paying attention to this conversation, and I trust that this will yield a very fruitful result going forward. I'd like to send the next question to Dr. Hassan Wumi. She's the President, CEO, ITech Center for Nigerian Women and Youth. Now, I find this interesting because when we talk about major stakeholders, when we're discussing issues of being on the internet space and all of that, women, are part of the key stakeholders. Young people are key stakeholders. So now the place of trust, the question is on now. The place of trust in schools, domestic and public environments cannot be overemphasized in handling and preventing online abuse. Now, how do we strengthen the capacity of these stakeholders? I know that the documentary that was played earlier, Khadija said something. She said, technology is ever evolving. So when you think you've caught up with the latest, you wake up tomorrow, it has changed. The beat has changed. So how do we keep up and ensure that capacity for stakeholders is being strengthened and sustained and up to date?
I hope you can hear me. Great. I'm going to skip that question for a few seconds, and I'm going to address the other two. First of all, I want to lay a very interesting platform here that we have a national plan that is for digital literacy done by NITSDA, and the document is here, it's online. And the reason for this is I'm happy I'm sitting with NCC, and I know NCC is doing a lot. The beginning of our problem solution is to know what is available. Once as stakeholders, we don't even know that ABCD is in place, or we assume that nothing is happening in Nigeria, then we have a big problem. If you meet every little child in America, they can tell you the Constitution of America. But adults in Nigeria don't even know the Constitution. So that's a big problem, isn't it? So children, let me first of all let you know that there's a document called the National Digital Literacy Framework done by NITSDA, and just this year it was out. And everybody should be able to get that, including schools. Many times when we engage with schools, we tell them the background from where we are coming from. Because until we begin to see an ecosystem that runs together, just last month, October, that's October now, NCC supported our NGO in partnership with their Corporate Affairs Department to train 300 school children and about 60 or more, I think about 70 teachers, right in the NCC building in Abuja, on digital literacy or skills in technology. Again, we need to begin to put, my sister started by saying people work in silos. That's a big problem we have in the industry. But I think it's good for us to know that these things are going on.
and then celebrate where necessary, the government's intervention, and then point out to them where they need to do more. I am aware of what Madam just said, because I remember when we were planning the department, we told us how they were going around. But one of the things that is very critical also for us to discuss on this platform is what is the difference between digital skills and ICT skills? Again, Nigerians, we use some of these technologies, we just talk about them. We have not deliberately brought our knowledge gap to the point of understanding. And I think it's good for us to understand what the children need to know, because anybody can come in and say the curriculum is very bad. Most of my children, how are you? I'm sure most of us have been meeting, have we? How many of you have met me outside of this hall? Your schools have been part of our training. That's another challenge. We trained about 30 schools. That is, you see, in Abuja alone, FCT schools, they are over 100. So when NCC picked them, I just mentioned 30 schools. These schools were not part of them. So this is a gap. This is a problem. This morning, I didn't know NCC would be sitting on this panel with me. I was sending a report, and I was telling them that for the 30 schools we have met, can you please encourage us to do a little more with newer schools? Because this is a problem. We will see that, COSPRA is coming, and the invitations are sent. Brand new schools are here. The schools that NCC are trained, completely new from what we're talking about. I'm sure Paradigm Initiative is doing a whole lot in Lagos. I'm aware of what Benga have been doing all the years. Unfortunately, I was trying to stop Mrs. Obishote from leaving, because I know for the last over 20 years, through Digitest, she has been doing a lot with children, with schools. And of course, this must be put into records. iTech is 19 years. We've been doing a lot with children. We started with girls. It was when we noticed that when we are training the girls, the boys stand on the corridor and look at us like bad aunties and mummies. We commiserate with NITDA. The current DG of NITDA called me and said, Dr. Umi, what do you do with the boys? And right here in Abuja at Raw Materials, he actually inaugurated the Steam Boys Tech Men with us. Because this must be on proper record. And I can tell you the last 2 years, we have done several trainings for schoolboys and the men in technology. This is part of the propagation of the digital literacy. So why am I speaking about that? Because we mentioned trust. Until Nigerians begin to trust the system and believe that NCC, whatever they are doing is working, whatever NITDA is doing is working. Unfortunately, I didn't know why my mommy allowed NITDA to go. Because it is always a problem when we have this kind of a meeting. These organizations come and give their opening goodwill messages and they leave. They have a lot of questions to answer to Nigerians, whom you assume. Look at the question that was posed when we were doing the opening ceremony. How many schools they have internet access? None. That's the beginning of the problem. I always say to people, when I was going to a university outside Nigeria, Oxford, the only thing they asked me from before I left Nigeria is to give them the IP number of my laptop. I submitted it without knowing what was going to happen. I got to the school planning for all the registration of a new student, thinking the way we do in Nigeria. But immediately I got to the admission room and I said, I'm here for registration. They said, oh, your name is Omowumi Ansa. And I said, yes. We got your IP and we have registered you. So just go. And everywhere I get to on the campus, my data is there. Hello, am I communicating? That's for me. With all my years of being a PhD holder in computer science, it's digital literacy. That is getting me into the community. Can I enter NCC today? And I put a thumbprint, and all over the department, somebody recognizes that a visitor comes in. That's the beginning. Am I communicating here this morning? Because a lot of times when we are privileged to sit on this platform, I have told people, I can come here and be telling you rhetorics. We are not interested in that rhetorics again. We are only trying to say now, what can we do better? Can we enter a school and these children every morning when they come in, and then there is a machine that thumbprints them, and all the teachers know that this child is in school or this child is not in school. There is a consciousness in that child that I am in a digitally environment that make things happen. Do you know that when we are in the hostel and anybody misbehave, right in our classroom, the faculty manager will just come and say, hi PIN number, they won't mention your name. Hi PIN number, so. You did so thing on the internet yesterday, and we will remove you if you continue. That's simple. So you need to, wherever you are coming from, you adjust. That is a campus university. I have worked severally in Obafemi Awolowo University. I know that OAU tried to do something like that. I mean, privileged to work in the server room, and then when anybody is doing any wrong thing, because we're talking about online protection, I remember there was a young guy that was trying to take the credentials of a lecturer and then take over the opportunity that he's about to get. And right there on the server, we discovered it, and we had to send a message to his department that if this continues, we will remove you from this platform and make sure that this university rusticates you. That is a digital environment. So it is onus on us, and I'm very happy that Ndukwe Foundation is hosting this with Mira. And it's not just about giving us .ng or whatever. We need to begin to get to what exactly is digital skills. What is ICT knowledge? That's a different platform. For the children, we need to let them know either they are in public school or they are in private school. Many of these children in public school, you'll be shocked at what they do that most private school children cannot do. I have interacted with them a lot. They speak to you, they tell you what they want to do. They have the knowledge. But see, it is not just enough for the children to have it. We were shocked the last training we had at NCC building. One of the physics teachers told us that all her years being a physics graduate and has been teaching for over 10 years, she has never learned the details of what she learned in that session, 2 days. That is a teacher. And that is the beginning. I'm happy you've been engaging with teachers. We cannot do too much with this. These children are shakrapra, like I call them. But at the same time, the country as a whole, the stakeholders, we need to deliberately sit down and ask ourselves what is skills that they need, what is the knowledge that they need, what infrastructure. We can put computers in school. Some of the teachers, when you bring the children, these computers they put here, how many times you do use them, like you ask now? How many times have you entered the lab? They've not entered it. And you ask the teachers why. They said they don't want the children to spoil the computer. I'm telling you what I've seen in the field. So it's not even enough to give them computers or give them laptops. The teachers will not allow them to use it. I investigated and evaluated the SkillG program of Nigeria done by UNESCO. As I'm speaking to you, university lecturers are in Abuja to still learn and train with the SkillG equipment. And I asked one of them, the one that UNESCO gave to primary and secondary schools, I went around the country to evaluate it. A complete teacher sent a Yoruba teacher to that training. What will the Yoruba teacher learn from the training and go and pass to the science teacher back in school? These are the anomalies we need to address. The training we had at NCC, even though the letter said, give us science students, some schools came with art students. Because the teacher felt I love the children in my art class. It was when we started giving them equipment, he returned back to the school to bring the science children. These are the issues we need to address, because government will shout the digital skill. The former minister was all over the country with digital skills, and I kept asking my stakeholder friends, what is this about digital skills? What are the skills you think these children need? What do I need as a woman? What do you need as somebody in the public office? There are different skills. And until we begin to stratify and make it obvious what exactly do we need, and then begin to put a benchmark. If this year SEC is training 1,000 girls or boys or teachers, can we benchmark what we will do next year? Rather than Rumi Azan, ITEC, train 300, Paradigm Initiative, train 500, and nobody is supervising us. Nobody is working with us. I was just jokingly saying, we had an event, we invited everybody, you didn't come. I told somebody, I said, this is government through Mama Nira. All of you are here. But you don't bother about what to do. Nobody is interested in benchmarking the progress. So when we finish at the end of 5 years, this honorable minister is going, what will be the report? That's the question. NITSDA has put up a policy, and there's a benchmark. What will be your analysis of performance? Until we get there, we are here. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Alima would like to give her thoughts as well.
So it's so good to hear that the work that NCC and MULTI are doing. And it is great for us, like you said, to be able to define, first of all, what digital literacy is, what these skills are, what is important for each stakeholder group, in this instance, children. What is applicable to the children in terms of primary education, in terms of secondary education, what are the skills that they need, and also be able to continuously make that curriculum evolve, and then very swiftly be able to implement them and change them as needs come on. The Madam from NCC had mentioned about how their place in this is limited because they're not a part of the education sector. But then when it now comes to things like internet infrastructure, access, which would make these things better, which would make it possible, those are a lot of the areas that we would love to see more put in and truly living to the broadband plan that is supposed to end at 2025. I also find it interesting that a lot of mention is made about the schools that have been trained, the students that have been trained, the teachers that have been trained, and the numbers. Where we're speaking to maybe 1,000 people. You had mentioned, I don't know if it was 300 students or 300 schools. Yeah, just putting that against the millions of Nigerians that there are and the millions of needs, how much of that is able to indeed move the needle? It is a pity that we all work in different silos where everybody is trying to grasp for straws, making sure that impact is made in these little areas. I think that one of the gaps that we find with especially government interactions in these places would be bringing all the stakeholders in, and I know that that's part of a panel discussion that will be happening later. Are the right people who are supposed to be a part of this in the room, are they contributing? And when they are contributing, how much of that is being taken in? But we cannot belittle the efforts that we are making. And the numbers that you're reaching, it's wonderful to hear that teachers are in fact being trained, training the trainers. They are the ones who are going to be able to take it back. You're right about us being able to celebrate the wins, but these things need to be scaled. They need to be scaled to reach a much wider group of people. And there's also the issue of how these things are being reported, how these things are being communicated to people. How many people do know that these efforts happen? A lot of the time, as someone who works in civil society, my area is generally in terms of digital safety. When I want to find information out, it's not readily available, that is the truth. And a lot of the time you would search online, you wouldn't find a lot of that, except of course for organizations like MULTI. We're looking at things like maybe the Universal Service Fund, where it is being used. The last time a report like that was published was in 2018. If you're not chasing the government institutions personally, writing the letters, they're not responding to the FOIs and things like that, these are not, the awareness gap is there, and I would love for, especially the government information institutions, to look more into the way that they communicate, the efforts that are being put out. Let us come together. Let us consolidate. Let us be able to scale the efforts that are being made. Let us reach the unreachable groups. Let us reach the underserved youth. Of course, I'm not saying that a lot of the efforts were just in Abuja. I know you mentioned Abuja, you mentioned Kaduna. Let us reach those who are the edges, because you'd find that someone who has completed SS3 education in Abuja and someone who has completed SS3 education in MULTI-STAKE, where I'm from, are they are on completely different scales on what it is they are capable of, what it is they have been exposed to. You know, you put a computer in front of one and they're able to use it and are completely unable to use it in the next. So I really want to applaud the privilege that those who are in the room have to be here, to have this information, possibly to have access to people who might even be able to help ensure that the digital literacy programs in your own schools are better equipped, you know. At least from what we're saying here, a lot of the teachers will be looking at themselves and thinking, let's open those computers, let's make it that the children are actually using these computers. Let us not be amongst the statistics, but I would end by commending the efforts.
Thank you very much. A round of applause, please. Just to add to your line of thoughts, I remember sometime last week, we're doing projects around climate mitigation and adaptation in the FCT, and we're looking for FCT budget. As simple as FCT budget, we couldn't manage it. So it took somebody who knew somebody to access the budget. A budget for communities should be accessible to the community. They should be able to track their own budget. So if they don't even have access because they don't know somebody that knows somebody, how do they track the budget? How does it? So, like you mentioned, the problem of trust breaks, you know, but I'm really happy that we're having this discussion, and again, I'm hoping that this gives birth to great progress. So a round of applause for everyone in the room, please. Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan. Thank you so much, Alima. Now the last question will be for you, Ma. Mrs. Ariola Akiyemi, she's CEO, Digital Sphere Limited. Now, I'll go practical with you, right? I like it when mommies are in the room. They can give you practical, no, just straight to the point. Now, so I'd like for you to share with us practical tips on how teachers, I'm glad teachers are in this room, students themselves, parents, guardians, can guide and protect children on the basic principle of online safety.
Okay, thank you for that. Just with, when you say you want parents, teachers, let's take the students out for now. You want them to have practical skills, knowledge, to be able to help guide those children to safety online. The first thing will be, what skills, what digital skills do these parents even have? That will be my first question. Because oftentimes, we've listened to ourselves here, and you've heard most times the schools cover these systems, because they tend to see them as museums. They are artifacts. They are things that are precious. They should not be tampered with. So how will then a teacher who cannot operate a system, how would you be able to keep a child safe online? Maybe offline, you now tell the child, okay, when you're going from maybe area 10 to area 1, make sure you check this, make sure you check that, do this. That's okay, because you have the experience. You can only give what you have. I remember in 2015, I founded an NGO where we were looking at digital skills for every teacher. I saw it as an opportunity to give back into the system, so that I insisted it must be public school teachers, because private school teachers can afford to pay for whatever training they need to acquire. But yeah, well, it might be a wrong assumption, but I want to believe that whoever owns a private school is running a business, so you should be able to invest in your teachers if you really want them to be good. But for public school teachers, I remember growing up, they say, okay, teacher's reward is in heaven, which made me decide not to ever be a teacher. So, and I said, the fact that teachers have impacted my life, and I find myself where I find myself, I want to be able to say thank you. And that is why I went for public school teachers. Well, I was privileged to attend primary schools anyway, but at some point I did attend a public school. So, when we came up with that program, it met with a lot of challenges. The challenges will be, 1, adaptation by the teachers themselves. 2, you have school boards that you have to go through, the bureaucracy in the government. We could not penetrate because it was assumed that we had funding from maybe a global body for this purpose. And we were blocked off from that project. At the end of the day, I think the only place we got a good response, that was in 2015, was FCT, but it had conditions that were not feasible. So, 2019 came the COVID. And I said, this was a vision. Because if at then we had been able to impact this knowledge, these teachers would have been ready for the 2019 COVID, as far as FCT is concerned, because our target was to get at least 100 teachers within a short period, 100 teachers in batches until we were done with them. And from the work plan, we would have been done with all the teachers in FCT by 2019. So, I'm wondering if I tell them what to do to get these children safe online, will they be able to understand where I'm coming from? Will they be able to take it back to the children? I can bet you if I bring out a tablet now and I pick one of these people, they will get so engaged that you would marvel. But if I give it to a teacher, well, it's a 50-50 chance. So, and that is how it is. Keeping them safe online is very key. It's part of, it's as good as keeping them safe offline. Because now you find out that 90% of the time, these are the digital generation, they're called the Gen Z. Now, the teachers need to be brought, maybe not up to their level, but something close by. And until we do that, it will be difficult for a teacher to relate conveniently with this child. Same applies to parents, except you are IT savvy. If you are not an IT savvy parent, the moment you see your, maybe, drop my phone, do you want to spoil it? The child is actually busy doing something very fantastic. By the time you go to that child as an IT savvy parent, you start finding out that maybe the child is might be working on a very intelligent robotics game. And you find out that this helps their critical thinking. It improves how they engage. So what we can do now will be, well, I will still give the advice so that it will not be said that I did not. But let's get back to getting the parents and the teachers to be, to have that digital literacy skill. First and foremost, to do that, there has to be engagement, an open engagement between the teachers, the parents, and the students. If that communication is not there, that is where trust comes in. If they don't have access to their teachers, meaningful access, interesting access, open communication access, they will not be able to even relate with each other. Now, having access, once that open communication is established, it behooves the teacher now to start guiding the child. When you go online, your digital footprints, how do you protect it? Oftentimes, in the last, after the February election, a lot of things have taken place online. You find a lot of digital footprints that are damaging to the youth, to their future. They have dropped them out there, believing that they are being, they call it woke, if I'm correct. So they drop it up there, and at the end of the day, these things will come back to haunt you, because that digital footprint that you have left there, you have probably insulted maybe the ambassador of the United States because he congratulated someone who you believe should not win the election. At the end of the day, you now get admission into the US. How then do you want to be able to go to the US? Because in the digital, the American system is quite digitalized. And in their network, they've already mapped you out, your name, everything about you as a person of risk. And then you gain admission. And then you are not privileged to get a visa to go to that school. You have deprived yourself by virtue of leaving digital footprints that are harmful to you. That's another way. Another way would be when you look at what those children do online. One will be, there are a lot of websites, social media websites, the social media platform that now the youth get engaged in, the students get engaged in, children get engaged with. How do you control the access of those children to sites that have harmful contents? Because currently, because of the openness, the resilience, and the interoperability of the internet space, you cannot control the content. So what you can do as a parent or a teacher would be to guide them towards understanding. And that is where critical thinking comes into play. Again, because now the child should be able to understand that this content is not good for me. This content will not add value to me. This content will not take me to the next. And then when they do that at that stage, you have to control the access. As parents, which is what I did anyway with my family, access to you. There are sites that when you want to, I receive a message that you want to visit a site. Children are naturally inquisitive. You cannot stop them. You cannot take that away. If they're not, please, that child is not okay. Find out properly. That a child must. It's not a matter of, there's nothing like the child is being disobedient. No. That is what makes them, that is what makes you realize that their thought process is actually very dynamic. They now know, because, and then you continuously engage them. You have to let them know why you are controlling their access. You don't just control the access. I was a rebellious child. If you controlled my access without telling me why, I would rebel. But if you sit me down, if you tell me why, I am controlling your access based on this, say, oh, then I can ask you questions, and then you respond, and then we have communication. So that is how, those are part of the steps. But I want parents to take this away. Parents we need to work on the teachers faster than we are presently. The reason is this: you have 24 hours in a day. You sleep for 8 hours. You are at work for about 8 hours. Or 10 sometimes, because you need to drive back home. These teachers are with these children for about 6 to 7 hours every day. That means they spend more time with your kids. The earlier we start training the teachers, helping them to understand and gain digital skills, and being able to help keep our, participate in that role of keeping these children online, then we have not even begun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I myself, am a parent, I'm written that down. I just realized that my kids spend about 8 hours with their teachers, and I'm here, Thank you so much for that. It's a great privilege to be on this panel seat with you. I'll just give us just 60 seconds to give thoughts as we have to move. Our moderator is already here. We have to Halima, your thoughts on digital literacy and online safety.
So also to correct, it's Khadija.
Khadija, I'm so sorry. My apologies, please.
Okay, that's fine. So first thing I want to do is reiterate what you have said. Parents, don't give your children devices and just let it be. Protect them, control it, find out what it is that is happening on there. Google, YouTube, and the devices themselves they all have ways that you can do better in terms of child protection, one. Teachers, don't wait till something happens in your schools. We're always surprised when something happens in the news. Equip yourself, prepare yourself. What happens when you encounter a certain situation? What is going to be your response? When the child is confused and coming to you for guidance, you should have said guidance, and that comes from preparedness. My organization have a course that we call Digital Security 101. Please equip yourself with that. What are types of passwords you should use? What are type of links that you should what are types of links that you should avoid? Who are types of people you should speak to? What type of information should you put about yourself online? And just to the children that are in the room, please don't put identifying information online. When you take a picture of yourself and you're posting it on Facebook, don't post the logo of your school. You know, where you are at a certain time should not be something that is accessible to just anybody. Protect yourself, be wary. You might not see what the risks are right now, but there are predators out there. So please, let us be cautious about how we present ourselves online, how you speak, the things that you say, the pictures that you post. Prepare yourself or equip yourself with digital security information. This goes to parents, teachers, and to the children themselves.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. You want to say something, Dr. Ibisa?
Okay.
In less than 60 seconds now.
Yes. Okay. So basically, I think that my takeaway from this session is better collaboration between the public and the private sector. Let's know what you're doing, and then try to familiarize yourself with what the government is doing as well. And then on the Commission's website, there's a section for child online protection. Parents and teachers can go online to download the guidelines, the guidance. It's in Pidgin, English, Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. My final takeaway will be that children, can you take your biro and write what I'm going to say? Digital skills that you should have. I will just quickly run through them. I will call the first one information and data literacy. Information and data literacy. After this session, teachers can meet with me. I will share this with you so that you can take it away from us. The next skill you should know about is communications and collaborations. Please look at that, communications and collaborations. The next one under digital skill will be digital content creation. If you guys know how to create a lot of content, you'll be busier than looking at nonsense on the internet. Then the next one is safety skills. I'm sure my panelists have mentioned a lot of them already, for parents, for you teachers, and for the children. And the last is problem-solving skills. Problem-solving skills. Again, like I said, I would like to meet with the teachers that came with them. I will just share this slide with you on WhatsApp, and that way you can take it further. And I think on the final note, I want to follow the partnership that even if we are in Abuja, people are in Lagos, people are in Bauchi, people are in Ondo State, we can work together. We can do a lot of things together. And this is going to be taken up by support from government. NCC, NITSDA, Ndukwe Foundation, NERA, all of you. You see, nobody will help us in this sector if we don't help ourselves. And I want to beg of you, like I've mentioned, and I'm very passionate about this, I've said it over and over. I am looking forward to NCC giving ITech 1 million naira. Give Paradigm Initiative 1 million naira. Am I communicating? Give any other organization in the north, Blue Sapphire. I know all of us. You should know us, and I'm sure you know us. Mama knows us. You know Martha, you know me, you know Benga Sheson. You know what's her name in the north? Several of us, so I've seen one or two people from the north here. Please bring us to a round table discussion. Let us be able to identify. iTech used to be in Osun State. Now we are in Abuja. We do things across Nigeria. I know Paradigm Initiative does so. Can you give us a target? This year, you guys should do, because we've had international donors who did that with us. And when you talk about computers not being in school, let me drop this information to all of us. There is a program called Beyond Access. Beyond Access and Happy Paradigm Initiative, I don't know if you were there then, but they identified us from US. Do you know what they discovered? They discovered that USPF gave computers, 50 systems to national libraries across Nigeria. But they are covered up. They had investigated it. They saw that they were not used. And they called us as NGOs. This is USO. They called me from US. They came to Abuja here, had meeting with us in this NICAM. And they told us as NGOs, we want you to begin to work with them so that these computers will be used for the digital literacy of the communities and schools. And they began to give us small grants. And until you submit your report, another one don't come. In NCC, stop dashing us money. I'm telling them every time. I said, don't dash me money. Give me the fund and monitor what I'm doing. See that I have trained 1,000 people. Nira, don't dash us. I'm not even, when Mama told me today about something came late, because I stopped writing organizations. If you feel that we are doing something reasonable, work with us. Let's be partners. Don't let us talk just about these things. If international organizations are identifying us and can give you a grant and say this $1,000, train 2,000 women, and after you have delivered on the 2,000 women, they increase it, Nigerian government should do the same so that we can keep a KPI that is monitorable, that is, so we can go around the country. That is digital skills.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ariola Akiyemi, CEO Digital Spare Limited. Thank you, Dr. Hassan Wumi, President, CEO, iTech Center for Nigerian Women and Youth. Thank you so much, Dr. Ibiso Kingsley George and Khadija El Usman. Thank you so much for this wonderful panel. A round of applause for them.
All right, so I think that the panel, they've done an amazing job. Let's put our hands together again for them. All right, so the photographer is on his way so that he can, please photographer, okay, yeah, so let the panel take a picture. I will just read out while they're taking their pictures, just a few notes that I made. Lack of knowledge of existing frameworks. A lot of people don't know, things are being done, but people don't have any knowledge about it. That's a gap that we need to fill. The ecosystem that runs together is another gap, and she did mention something about collaboration. We're working differently, but we're not working together. We need to begin to work together if our aim is to have that common goal. All right, so practicability of learning experience, thank you so much. Collaboration, celebrate, digital skills versus ICT skills. We need to make a distinction between those two so that we know what to deploy at what point. We need to also understand the difference between reach versus impact. If you can reach 1,000 people and impact only 100 people, trust me. And so that's where benchmarking and also monitoring comes into place. So thank you so much, fantastic panel. And I hope that our funders and our donors are listening so that we don't give excuse to say, we can't give you money. Give us money, but monitor what we are doing. I like that. And it only takes a confident person to say that. It's only somebody who's ready to do the work that will be confident to say, give me the money, but monitor what I'm doing. So thank you so much to all the panelists once again. We're going to move straight to the next panel. And the next panel is on safety and privacy. And safety and privacy. Technical, please confirm to me that our panelists online are still there. Some of our panelists on this particular panel are not here physically, but that's the beauty of technology, right? We can be anywhere and still be here. Okay, so that's it. So for any country with a plan to improve the scope of its national development and then cement itself as a genuinely digitally astute state, the safety and privacy of children must be of paramount importance. To what extent is the role of homes and schools in achieving this? What other components are critical in ensuring a safe and protected space for the Nigerian child online? And how do we ensure that abuse is ardently checkmated? Nigeria is undergoing major changes in the child online protection space, especially with the recent work done with new Unified National Strategy on Child Online Protection. Multiple investments led by both private and government sectors have also produced dramatic improvements in the online safety of the Nigerian child. However, many challenges are still being faced in the protection of the Nigerian child. According to the Nigerian Communications Commission, 93% of Nigerian children are exposed to online risk. Also, a survey carried out by Kaspersky revealed that 48% of Nigerian parents acknowledge cyberbullying as top concern when it comes to worrying about their children. Despite the efforts being made by all stakeholders, Nigeria is still plagued by an alarming rate of risk to the Nigerian child online. This concern is worsened by the speed at which newly introduced technologies attract new risks. Hence, the discussion of child online safety and privacy as part of the national development, with conversations covering safety in homes and schools, the role of NGOs and other critical components is imperative at this time. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome all the members of this particular panel to the podium. Like I said, some of our panelists are online, so we would welcome those who are physically present. So moderating this session is a woman who's propelled by in-depth knowledge of the ICT space. She's done advocacy in quite a lot of organizations, and now she's current COO of NIRA. You can see how she's moving very fast to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, so this is your team. Thank you so much. She's an excellent moderator, by the way, and she has a nice, beautiful hair. I will keep talking about her. All right. Anyways, the other members of the panel include Mr. Haruna Abdullahi, Editor-in-Chief, World Entourage Magazine. He's called Haru Spice. Are you present here, or is he joining us virtually? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Let's put our hands together for him. He's a writer and he's a poet. He's also a youth activist. Our second panelist is Mr. Solomon Okedara. He's a co-founder, Digital Rights Lawyers Initiative. Thank you so much, Mr. Solomon. It's getting interesting. We have lawyers now. They start putting it to us directly. I put it to you. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, so we have Mr. Bernard Ewa. He's the Acting Director General, Government Development and Regulatory at the NIDA. So he's joining us virtually. So it would be nice to also see him off stage. Technical, please. Let's put our hands together for him. Yeah, so, all right. Our last panelist is actually here physically, and his name is Mr. Titus Manza. He's the head, National Monitoring Center, Team Lead, Cybersecurity Reporting, NAPTI. Let's put our hands together for him. All right, thank you. So, because we talked about collaboration and working together, we have to work together on this panel. So can we work together like this? Please, thank you. Yeah. Mr. Solomon Okedara, please, this is your seat. We have digitized everything for you. All right, thank you so much. So, have a wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Is this one? Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eitayo, and good afternoon, panelists. Mr. Ewa, it's great to see you online. Can we hear you though? Is your sound good? Can we test that? You need to unmute. Just so we know that we can hear you. As soon as he can speak, we'll hear him anyway. So good afternoon, panelists, and it's great. There was a panel that had all the women, and then they now created this panel that had all the men, and I'm the only woman here. What's happening? And we're discussing something very important and critical, and I wish we could have all Nigerian parents in here, and I hope that many of them will watch this. And the teachers as well. There's a lot that we need to do as adults for the next generations in terms of safety and privacy online. And government has, there's a policy. How many of us here have read the new act, Child Online Safety Policy? Please do. Tell yourself, in a week, I'm going to read that policy and find out what it says. because we're going to talk about child online safety and security, and we can't do that if you don't even understand what the terms, what the terms are. So I'm going to dive straight into it and ask the panelists to please tell us, in their opinion, what they would term as the current state of child online safety in Nigeria. Where are we exactly? I'm asking about a policy that was signed early this year, into law. And many of us here are here to discuss child online safety, but we haven't even seen what the policy states. I know that the NCC did a lot of work through the last 2 years to put this in place. So if we haven't heard it, then this is a good time, because we have lawyer, we have like activists, we have non-governmental, and then we have policy online. So it's like, this is a beautiful combination. So I'll start with Barrister Okidara. What would you say the state is, in your opinion, child online safety in Nigeria?
Well, I think for me, it's been quite worrisome. And I would say this, we have actually seen during the just concluded election ahead in February, we saw quite a number of issues that children were not involved, and they were being dragged into their dignity of human person, their psyche, their privacy. Now, I think there's a particular instance I could readily bring up of a particular comedian who was actually giving his support to a particular presidential candidate, and people went as far as bringing the image of his child online. They denigrated that child. They did all sorts of things. They likened that child to an animal. That was horrible. This was a situation where this child was not even the subject. So for me, I think we have actually seen, consistent increase in, posing threats to the safety and privacy of child online in our society.
Thank you very much. That was so apt. Great example. Yes, please, Mr. Titus.
Thank you very much. Let me just correct you. NAPTIP it's a law enforcement agency with prosecutorial powers to arrest and prosecute offenders. So, for the state of the current child online we have now, I think we still have a long way to go. The policy, but we need to look at implementing and bringing a lot of stakeholders as we're here together to actually see what areas we need to look at. The policy have 11 trusts that we deal with, and which involves governance. We have the legal, we have the awareness creation, we have stakeholders engagement, which we are also doing now. We have reporting and support, which I know even to report some we don't even know how to report, because if you see something about child online and you're reporting, people just tend to copy maybe the image or the video and send, which is wrong. There are different ways to do so. We need to create awareness on doing that also. Then we have also security and law enforcement. We have capacity building, which NAPTIP for the past 1.5 years, I think there's no week we don't do capacity building for NAPTIP officers, not just NAPTIP, for officers involved like police, EFCC, Federal Ministry of Justice, and Cybercrime Prosecution Unit. So we all come together, and even we all come together to do that. And then we also have the ICT industries. What do they? I was discussing with NCC how can we actually involve ICT industry in actually helping to give us actual reports, or especially IP addressing, actual footprints of all those that do this. And then also we talked about research. I think Madam talked about research, DNS, so we need lots of research on that. Then we have international cooperation, which is key, because most of the electronic service providers, almost all that we use, Facebook, TikTok, they are not Nigerian based. So how do we actually cooperate with other international organizations to actually get reports from them? So
Thank you. That helps. And Mr. Abdullah, your mic is on.
First and foremost, I'm Ben Abdul. I'm standing in for Abdullah Aruna. I'm the managing editor of World Interact magazine and the program officer for Open Dialogue Initiative. There was a report commissioned by NCC, I think 2020 also, that laid emphasis on the fact that on average, the Nigerian child spends 3 to 8 hours on the screen. And we all know screen is no longer traditional again, it's more focused on the telephone and so on, and the internet. And there was another report again in 2020 about Child Online Safety Index reports. They said there's a higher level of disordered use of technology and social media among the Nigerian children. Among the 30 countries that were sampled, Nigeria was bottom 6. That speaks to the damage that social media, especially, is doing to the child. The children are exposed to an environment of unregulation. A lot of policies were not implemented, and this has negative and adverse effect on the Nigerian child in terms of his interaction on social media. Thank you.
I'm going to start from you again. So what would you say, in your opinion, is the major challenge of implementation? Because we were having that discussion during the tea break. I didn't know you were going to sit on my panel, but what would you say is the greatest challenge for the implementation of a policy like today we're talking about child online safety, but maybe we can extrapolate to other policies, and it's good that NAPTIP is here, so they'll speak about this next. But what would you say, in your opinion, greatest challenge?
One of the issues, or the major issue we have, is a lot of people are doing different things in terms of policy implementation, and they're doing it differently. There is no unified approach towards policy implementation.
So there are silos.
Yeah, there's no unified approach towards policy implementation. I think that should be the starting point of this conversation.
So a unified approach, like this, multi-stakeholder approach, and then what do we do from here? Yes, Mr. Titus, it would be great to hear your opinion.
I think I align with him very well, because one, if, just like he said, if you're working in Senegal, NAPTIP as a law enforcement agency, if we are there to enforce and arrest some of it, and the awareness creation is not done properly, so we need a lot of stakeholders to come in and unify, because we have this, and if we don't all come together to actually implement this policy, we'll still have a long way to go.
Yes. And just before I ask Mr. Okedara, I want everybody to know that when we say all come together, it's not you against us or them against. It's not just about us on stage. We're talking about a nation. Everyone in Nigeria, we all have to decide that we're going to fight for child online safety and privacy. So, Barrister Okedara, please. Is Mr. Ewa's sound good now? We still can't hear you. Can you unmute so we can test? No? Barrister Okedara has spoken while he's trying to solve that.
Very much, I think for me, whether we look at policies or we look at legislation that seek to protect the privacy and safety of the child online, I think most of the challenges have actually been about knowledge of existence of such protection. Now, the good thing is, how many of the children, how many of their parents are aware that these children have rights that protect their existence, and their activities online, and this right cannot be taken away by the school, by the government? How many of them are aware? Because see, we first of all need to start from the place of knowledge. When I know that I have a right to something, it is after that I can exert that right. Okay, so I think sometime in 2021 or so, a child in a state called Kerala in India, filed an action against the state, and challenged them that they violated their right to access the internet. Because so that child, it was a girl, so she was using that phone, and I think the school, the house porter, seized the phone from her. So she wasn't allowed to use phone, because generally I think for some reason the girls were stopped from using phones while the boys were allowed to do that. So at the end of the day, she said, no, I'm actually using my phone to undertake homework, assignment, and all of that. So at the end of the day, our parents said, okay, we need to press a suit. And they filed a suit. At the end of the day, the court actually returned with a verdict that seizing that photo was a violation of the right to access the internet. And that was the first case, not only in India, I mean everywhere in the entire group, where right to internet was first declared as a fundamental human right by a court. But that stemmed from the place of knowledge. Unless there is that knowledge, then we just think, you see, it's their school. Everything they are doing is for your own good, okay? No, it's not. That child has a right to access the internet to learn. So we need to promote much of knowledge, in all the departments in order to make our policies and of course our legislation effective.
Thank you very much. I'm going to come right back, but I'd like to hear from Mr. Ewa. Is he good? Acting Director, E-Government and Regulation. And someone help us, please. People online can hear him. Media, we'll just continue this conversation. And I like, the angle that you are taking us through now, which is, so if we say that it is a fundamental human right, that everybody should have access to the internet, including children, then it behoves on the parents and the teachers to make it safe. Because, if you say it's a fundamental human right, then we say, okay, everybody should access. But how do we now ensure that when they do access, they will be safe? So what do you think are the roles of, let's talk about schools first. We'll come to parents, but let's talk about schools because we have teachers in the audience. I know we have parents in the audience as well. Many of the teachers are parents anyway, but let's talk about schools. What kind of structures do you think can be put in place now? So if we say, okay, you have a right, you can take the phone, you can go online. What kind of structures? And I want us to localize it for Nigeria. What can we put in place?
Okay, so thank God I laid that foundation on the right. And let me say this clearly. There's no right anywhere in the world that is absolute. Now, all rights can be restricted. However, in strict adherence to the rule of law. So how can this right be restricted? So what we are saying is that the right of that child to access the internet, which is the right to express himself or herself, now is a right that can be restricted. And that has to be in strict adherence to the rule of law. So how will the school, stand to say, look, you have a right to access the internet. It's not even a right we are giving you as school. It's not the right Nigerian government is giving you. No government, you have that right because you're human. And that's why it's called fundamental human rights. So, but what we need to do is that we need you to maximize the exercise of this right in order to also prevent you from another abuse. So let me make it this clear. Now, when you look at when a child is trying to access the internet, to undertake assignment, to create content, to learn, he or she is exercising right to expression. Now, which the law protects. However, while doing that, there are some predators on the digital platforms who want to take advantage of him or her. So, in doing that, then that is where the critical stakeholder institutions like school comes in to say, look, we will help you in enjoying this right without the damage to another right. Because that same child has a right to the dignity of a person. Now, while exercising that right, if she's being bullied, then another right is being violated. So the school will not come up with, okay, how do we ensure that the national cyber policy we have, how can we break them down? And so that when these children, whether they're in school, accessing the internet, how can we guide them in details without having to, let us just take it to love now.
So would that be, in your opinion, knowledge, yes, awareness?
Absolutely.
Awareness. Speaking to the 11 pillars now, that awareness, knowledge, and maybe enforcement?
Yes, on the part of the school, yes, some kind of local or basic enforcement.
Yeah, because I know when young people hear enforcement, their eyebrows rise, and their pupils dilate, but enforcement, even to come up stage, there's a way to come up stage. So life has to be enforced. Everybody here is sitting. If everybody decides to stand up, other people will not be able to see the stage. So there has to be some structure to the access to the internet. So Mr. Titus, I'll come to you now. In your experience now, because you are actually in the trenches,
so
guiding this.
Let me just give you an example. I was We usually have some sensitization in schools and cases come. In fact, just even before I left the office this morning, I had a report of about 7 cases of revenge porn. 7 cases, so that's how we deal with it every day. So we're in this school, I won't mention the name. What happened is, so parents take note, even teachers. It's a tertiary institution in Abuja. And there are some particular group of girls, what they do is they wait when their colleagues, when their female friends are going to the bathroom in the morning, they come with a phone, take the pictures of their fellow students, and then keep it, and then send it to a cell. We're still working on to identify those cells. They send these pictures to them, and then they now call that lady or that girl. If you don't pay us some money, we'll post your picture. And in return, the person that sent the picture, guess what they will give her? They will just buy her a shawarma. Shawarma. So the school was able to identify that girl, and we're still working on it. So that's an example of safety on the internet. And students, let me just ask you, do you know the meaning of Facebook? What is it? You said what? No, the meaning of Facebook is what? Face your boo. Say it. Next one. Say face your boo. Okay. So let me just ask you one question. What is the greatest threat to the internet? Who can answer that question? If anybody answers that question from the student, you have something to go home with today. The greatest, I've asked that question. The greatest threat to the internet? Yes, quickly.
I think the greatest threat is when a male friend or a female friend gets access to her news and posts it online. That is pornographic images and threatening you, if you don't do this, if you don't have sex with me, I'll post your pictures online.
Okay, thank you very much. There's still one more person, then I can do so that because there's no time. Yes.
Poor cyber hygiene and computer viruses.
Okay, you are closer to that. Thank you very much. You are closer to that, but
We have somebody
okay. Just the last person.
The greatest threat also actually is, I think, your personal data and identity.
Okay, so we are close to.
Identity text.
So we are close to that. So let me give you the answer. The greatest threat.
Let's just give them a round of applause.
You all got it right, but I wanted a point. So the greatest threat to the internet is who? You. Say me. Say me. From all what the speakers have been saying, you heard about having to not to click a link that is not supposed to be clicked. Having a very poor password combination. So all that. So the greatest threat to the internet is me. Because if you don't click, if you don't open attachments that are sent to you that you don't know, treat everything that is sent to you as if it's a physical person. If someone you don't know comes to you today and says, come, can you follow me, or can you follow me? Will you follow him? No. So treat that as you're treating a physical person. Treat the internet like you're meeting a physical person. So basically, and then lastly, let me just give an example again because I'm going to be very practical. We had a case is in Abuja here. 2 teenage boys. What they do, I think is a cell also they have. What they do, they go to secondary schools, call girls, take their pictures, use them, and then take their pictures, having sex with them, live pictures and videos, and then anytime they need them. If you don't come, we'll post you're there. So one of the boys is I think 18, one is 20, one is 19. So already I've already pressed charges, and we're hoping to get life imprisonment for those kids, for those boys, because they're already adult already. Because we already have life sentence for 2 or 3 other ones 3 weeks ago. So because that is what they do, and it's a cell, it's a group, and it's around Nyanya axis. That's what they do. They go to schools. If you close one school, they'll carry you, go and rape you. First of all, they rape you, and they take a picture, an image, and then put it on the internet. I mean, they don't put it on the internet. They send it to you, and anytime they need your service, if you don't oblige, they will threaten you that they will put it on the internet. So that's what they've been doing. But I think 3 of them are now. They're already remanded in prison custody already. So that is what we're doing. So basically, there's a lot of problem in that. And in addition to that, I was discussing this morning that we have, between September 2021 to date, we have over 354,000 reports of child-related distribution of pornographic images, sale or threats, financial sextortion. So you can imagine Nigeria, having, and these are just reported cases that either pass through Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, and some of the basic social media handles that we use. The other ones, even like Bumble, I don't know whether you know Bumble, I think they have Badu. There's this Badu that we saw before, I think they're the operators of Badu. So they are the ones, and most of these dating sites. Beware of the dating sites, because those are the sites they lure you into. Before you know it, send your image, beauty pageant, and you're falling into the trap. So we have that. So I have a team of 25 well-trained investigators, but 350,000 we cannot handle that. So that's why we have formed a task force with the police now, EFCC, Federal Ministry of Justice, Cybercrime Prosecution Unit, and we started working on those cases and prioritizing it based on level of threat and danger to the child. These are just for children, not for even adults. Thank you very much.
Oh wow! This is important that we all know this. Thank you so much. So thinking about the schools now, and I'm a techie, so at the back of my head, I'm already looking at VPNs and firewalls, and my mind is going crazy here. But what are the low-hanging fruits for schools? How can they help? How can schools help?
We lay emphasis on what the schools needs to do. Like we spoke earlier, we should also beam our light on some cultural practices that militate against efforts being put by schools. Because some of the teachers are here, some of them, they know they're not in a good place in terms of enforcing school policies. These children, sometimes they come to schools and the discipline is tied according to the standard of the school. And you see, I've seen a lot of videos of parents even going to school to harass teachers. This is my child, he has a right to this and a right to that. This must be a collaborative effort. Growing up, I remember there used to be a PTA meeting. It was that intense. Everybody comes, have a heart-to-heart interaction, the teachers and the parents. They lay out framework for which the schools and lay down principles for which the schools should implement to have a safer environment. But we are dealing with a generation Z that are very smart also, very, very tech savvy. So most of the time, like, you as a parent, I think it takes you working extra mile tech-wise too, for you to even have a grasp on what they are doing with their telephones, what they are doing with their smartphones rather. It takes a grasp. So teachers too, personally from my own perspective, they are not in a good place based on the limitations in terms of enforcement of policies by some parents. I think the emphasis should be on better collaborative effort between the parents and the schools. And secondly also, like we spoke about cultural practices the other time, there was a case, I think it happened sometime this year, I saw it on the internet, I think it was on Facebook. A popular skit maker, he sexually objectified a minor, I think sometime this year. sexually objectify the minor with the consent of her parents. With the consent of her parents. I think that case was persecuted, but I didn't know the logical conclusion of the case anyway. Okay, but I don't know the logical conclusion. So you can see, I think the internet space has become a good and bad place for the children exactly. Like my Oga said, the greatest threat to the internet is you, and the greatest asset to the internet is you. What you choose to do with that internet determines the outcome of your interaction on that very, very unpredictable space.
So talking about the parents now, Mr. Ewa, are you with us? Can you speak? Okay. So Mr. Okedara, just talking about the parents now, and this is like a wild card. How do we even begin the process of making parents more informed? I mean, I am a techie. I've been developing applications since the 90s, and there's still some things on my phone that I just hand over to my teenagers and say, sort this out. And that's me, which means that many parents just really have no idea even how. Many houses now have internet. There's fiber in the house, there's Wi-Fi. Parents don't even put the first line of limiting some websites so that the children cannot go there. There's so much to do. How do we even start? You see, I don't want us going too far so that the parents don't even have any way to start. What are the low-hanging fruits for parents now?
For me, I think I will first say the parents need to become friends to their children. I'm going to give you a very good example. Now, you said it, even as a techie, you do not, the teacher spends more time with young children. That's a fact. There's nothing, you cannot research that. Now, but then if you are a friend to your child, now there are times that a child is very uncomfortable. Somebody is talking to our instinct is telling her, this person is not real, it's not genuine. But if you find a friend, whom you are going to be. So, in this case that was being prosecuted, I'm sure there have been a judgment now at the Sexual Offences Court in Lagos State. So, and I mean, very, very close to what my pastor said. Now, there were 8 boys in the University of Lagos who practically turned a fellow student, a girl, to a sex slave in the University of Lagos. They turned out to say, and I'm going to tell you how they started. The first day, they got another friend of ours to invite her to, they call that, it's one RS building in it has a popular name. So they invited her. So when she got there, she got to the room. Another girl was inside the room. Then after a while, they were playing music, and the other girl actually stepped out. So leaving her with 5 boys. And the 5 boys pounced on her. While they pounced on her, while they were taking turns, there was another guy at the window recording it. So when they were done, they told her, look, what we have done now, we have it all recorded. So if you like, go out and tell someone. You're going to see your, I mean, you know that by then you're a porn star. You're going to see your videos all over the world. So now that they didn't go today. The following day, it got to a time that girl even became comfortable with one of them, that she began to see herself as a girlfriend to that guy. So something happened. So one guy came as a friend to, I wouldn't want to call the guy, but the story is not actually online. So let me call the guy Tony, or we'll use him close to him. So, and the friend, Olu's friend now said, okay, I want to stay with her. And so, get talk to Olu, will you allow this? He said, no, that's how we do it from ISI, because I'm ISL. So they all graduated from ISL. Now, so at the time she married, I went sharing, and so the guy was ready, the guy was ready to sleep with her. And unprotected. And they said, hey, who wants to do this unprotected? I didn't believe it, went ahead. Now, but that guy became so comfortable, he had to go get Postino. I mean, he hasn't done it before. It wasn't part of the cake, really. Then it was that moment that girl became so comfortable, she had to trust someone. After about 3 weeks, she had become a secretary. And she had a mother, she had a father. Now, the truth is, the first day that thing happened, if that girl found a friend in her mother, she said, Mommy, something happened to me. Well, you see, this girl wasn't comfortable. She didn't see a friend in her mother. I mean, I couldn't just imagine how that thing happened for them. Well, I said to him, it's 3 months. How that it happened? You know, anywhere they go, when a new friend comes in, that new friend will still be there. So, but that only continued for that long because that girl couldn't find a friend in a mother, in a father, in somebody she could talk to. So I think the first thing we need to do, which is most important to me, that all parents should make themselves friends to their children. Even when you're in danger, when somebody's talking to you, talk to me. I will beat you. I love you. I think that's very important.
For me, I think I align with you. We need the parents. We parents actually be involved in talking to our wards. One, because most of the time we're at work and they're at school with the teachers, and we need to be friends. I have 2 boys I know, and anytime I don't give them my tablet or my phone, they get angry, and I tell them, yes, I won't give you. And if I give you, I have time for them to give you, but you know, whatever it is, they explore. Being a tech person, I've been in the tech industry for close to 25 years today, but still, those boys are young boys that are primary school boys. They still, I have a daughter in the university, but those boys, what they do, besides they visit, sometimes I keep them on my side. I say, go, I want to see how much they explore. I wonder how they get to know that. So no matter what you do, we need to pay attention to whatever they are doing every day. And in schools, for me, I don't know whether in schools or internet at home. I think my suggestion to NCC or internet service provider, I don't know whether, when you're giving service to homes, especially homes, there should be default sites that you cannot even see, except if the parent or who the adult asks, okay, please enable this access for us. Let there be a default, because it is anywhere you just go, the sites, in fact, if you know, up to 40 to 50% I know of websites are pornographic sites globally. Up to 50 to 60%. You will see sites, but most of the time you go, they have pornographic related images or something to do that. So you can imagine the volume of information that comes to our kids at a particular time. So I think parents and then teachers also should always take note of what their kids do.
I like laying emphasis on culture and morals. Maybe my northern background just sets me out on that. You know, there are some of us were brought up in a conservative environment that prevents certain discussion on hot button topics. Hot button, there are some taboo topics that, no matter how bad it gets, children are not comfortable enough discussing it with their parents. Like I gave you an instance all the time of a young girl, someone, of course, rape usually happens with people you trust the most. A young girl with someone that was supposed to be her father, he took advantage of her sexually, and he was doing it over and over again until a period she just got so comfortable. She didn't confide in her blood sister that kept her in the house, but she confided in a woman in her church close by, and the woman reported the case to NAPTI, and NAPTI prosecuted the case to a logical conclusion. Most times over here, there was a place I used to work, privileged to sensitive information, especially as it concerns sexual abuse, especially in the northern area. Most times, people prefer to settle this thing with the king, with the monks, and so on, because they don't want shame to come to the family. And these things prevent a lot of young children from even being courageous enough to approach people ordinarily that they should have this kind of discussions with. I think parents need to be more open. Those cultural limitations that has placed boundaries on the extent of intensity of our discussion with our children, I think as we evolve as people, we need to start breaking those blocks one by one in order to be, as I said, friends with our children.
Wow. Thank you very much. And it's interesting because I straddle tech and psychology and practicing therapist, and I meet quite a number of teenagers. And there are a myriad of issues that have come together to where we are now as a nation.
low self-esteem, the need for external affirmation. So many things have driven the pandemic that we are finding ourselves in now. The need for females to feel that if somebody wants to have sex with you, it means that they find you valuable. And that is such a wrong notion. So there's a lot of work to be done with the young people. And just listening to this has sobered me a bit, just listening to how bad it is out there. Some of us, we're kind of shielded, we don't have this kind of information. So I'm also glad that on the panel, we've been able to have a transparent conversation. Because again, as Nigerians, words like sex, we're whispering it on that table. Meanwhile, people are being blackmailed for this kind of thing. I mean, young children blackmailing one another. What has the world turned into? But as Nigerians, like you have said, our culture, we are a community, we're communal. If this community starts to become abusive because of the same value, so the value that we're saying is we're espousing familial values. So if somebody in your family abuses you, there's a high likelihood, it's changing now, but there's a high likelihood that they will say you should protect the person, the perpetrator, and they'll say it so that they will not shame the victim, but that's a lie. It's the person who has offended who should be ashamed of their offense, not the person who is suffering. So young children, not just girls, not just boys, if anybody takes advantage of you, the person taking advantage of you is the one that has the issues, not you. The person who's taking advantage is the one who needs help, not you. You are a victim, and you are the one we should support and we should help. So today you have access to information. Use it. When you get back to your school, talk to the other children. I wish we could put everybody in the room, but these conversations need to go far. I'm just going to ask everybody to spend 1 minute and just give us a summary of your thoughts. I mean, we've touched on so many things, but give us a summary of your thoughts of how we can evolve. We're here now. We've heard about how it is. It's tough out there. But how can we evolve? What next in Nigeria when it comes to child online safety? I'm going to start from Mr. Ben Abdul.
Okay, I think we should continue something like this and even intensify engagements like this. It's an eye-opener. A lot of young ones are here today. Some of them, this will be the first time I've ever even had this kind of conversation, and it's an open and sincere dialogue, you ask me. Going forward, we need to take the conversation to where the problem is, the grassroots. We need to bring the community, like you said. Once this whole conspiracy of silence, trying to protect a name becomes a community value, it erodes the essence of value in itself. We need to take this conversation to the community. We need to make people understand the reasons why such acts, regardless, should not have a place in our society, and why the victim itself should not even be shamed or take responsibility for the irresponsible.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. I think for me, awareness is there. And then as an officer also, capacity building. There's something you said that which is key, mental health. So look at the mental health of officers solving the case. You look at the screen, you're looking at pornographic images from morning to evening. What does it do to the investigator? So that is why most times we don't even allow two investigators watch same pornographic video or image at the same time. We don't do that. Only you that is handling the case, go watch and tell us what you have seen. So even the officers handling those cases, they have that mental every day. They keep in the morning, I go to office, sir, there are 2 cases or 3, you need to watch this. So what do you think it does? So even the therapy to even those handling those cases is key. And that is what I think we should start building in our law enforcement agencies in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to speak to the Nigerian child, whether in this room or anywhere in the world. You see, the first thing is that please do not involve yourself with any stranger you find online. And limit leaving your personally identifiable information, your phone number, your email, anything with any stranger. But let me say this. Perhaps you have actually dropped any personally identifiable information, your image, your nude, anything. You see, it is not time to be ashamed, okay? So what you need to do is you now need to exercise a right that is not your father's right, it's not your mother's right, it's not the government's, it's not the school's right. And the state has a duty to protect that right. You have to do it, even if your mom, your dad, you think they don't have money to pay the police, pay a lawyer. Now, nothing is there. Now, there are NGOs, Digital Lawyers Initiative is one of such NGOs that will run the entire stretch for you to get justice at no cost to you or your parent. You have a right to the dignity of your person. So forget the fact that you made a mistake in the past and somebody is threatening you with a need. That person is actually playing or joking with jail, a lifetime jail. Okay? I beg you, please do not be ashamed of it. Come forward, talk to someone, and find a friend in your parents. They cannot kill you, they are your parents. If they are correcting you, they want to guide you to the best future you should have. Find a friend in them, talk to them. I met someone. I joined in my preacher. I'm ashamed of myself. Help me. If your mom or your dad says, I don't have money to pay police or lawyer, tell them there's an organization that can do it for us. So that person will not ruin my life. Please, you have a right, exercise your right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Bernard Ewa, we apologize that you couldn't participate. We really apologize, but we've had an engaging and enriching conversation. Thank you, Mr. Ben Abdul, representing Mr. Abdul. Please give him our thanks. Thank you, Mr. Titus. Thank you very much to NAPTIP and all the work that you're doing. Thank you, Barrister Okedara. And I think it's the second time I'm moderating the session you're on, and the energy, I'm just so grateful for all the work that you're doing. Thank you to everyone here and all the great work to protect children online. Thank you.
So thank you. We'll just have a photo session with the panelists. Thank you so much, everyone. You've been an engaging audience. Don't be tired. We're almost there. We're cruising home. Home stretch. Final. And so while we wait, we had there was a training some time ago. And when people are trained and they perform well, the natural thing to do is to be able to, one, commend them and also give them. Let's give them another round of applause, please. Thank you so much. And like they said, don't be afraid, all right? You can make a mistake, but don't leave your mistake. When I say leave, like don't L-I-V your mistake, okay? We've all made mistakes. Some mistakes will come to the light, some are hidden. But like Barrister Okedara said, please reach out to somebody and seek help so that you can put away the person who is bullying you, because you are not going to be the only victim, trust me. Once they have started, they are predators. They will get tired and they pick the next person. So you can become the person who stops all of that from happening. Straight away, we want to do some presentations to some teachers that were trained a while ago. Yes, so we will call Mr. Titus. Please come up stage. And of course, our delectable and our phenomenal woman, grandmother, mother of the internet, Mrs. Mary Uduma. Please come forward too. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have a few certificates. We have a last session. We want to apologize to our online, our virtual participants. Sorry, Mr. Barrister Ben. We just had a few technical issues happening here. That's why we couldn't hear him speak. They're working on it to resolve it because the moderator of the next session is also joining us virtually. So we're hoping that we'll resolve it so that they can join us. All right, so there was a teacher's engagement training a while back on child online safety protection and reporting of abuse for teachers. It was done by the NKF, Ndukwe Kalu Foundation, I beg your pardon, for senior secondary schools. It was held sometime in October, and this is the best time for them to be giving their certificate. So we'll just call your names. Please step forward and we'll call you. So there's Ogundesi Moses, Mr. Ogundesi Moses. Mr. Ephraim James, Oyegoke, Mr. Oyegoke, please step forward. Mr. Akin Somi, please step forward. Mr. Ben Chris, please step forward. Mr. Tazia, please step forward. Miss Okay, this is Chinelo, Zoe, please step forward. And Sally Huneme, please step forward. What's your name, sir? So when you receive your certificate, just step to one corner because I want to take a picture of everybody. Thank you. Just frame them, please. Just frame them. While we do this, can technical confirm to us that we can hear our virtual participants, please? All right, please, all the, let's start for them, all the recipients, please come forward. Students, it's time to clap for your teacher, you know? So that they will let you use the computer in the lab. Clap now, I'm telling you. All right, thank you so much. And congratulations. Well done. I hope you carry the message and that you do a great job with it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, so we're cruising home, like I said. Final session is on multi-stakeholder responsibilities in online safety. So far, so good. We've learned a lot. We've covered a lot of grounds, but this last one is like the icing on the cake, where we understand how multi-stakeholders are supposed to just come together to get this to work. And so, please, let's be quiet, please. It's the last session. Multi-stakeholderism is often overlooked in policy making and implementation of those policies. Over-independence on government for action and resources have caused the slow rate of growth in multi-sectors of the Nigerian state. For a country like Nigeria that desires a safe space for children online, the responsibility of policy making in the implementation of safety measures, pooling of resources, capacity building, accessibility, amongst other needs, should be shared by multiple stakeholders. And the need for collaboration between the government, private sector, academia, civil society, and other key stakeholders to end the child online abuse in Nigeria should and must be emphasized. Multiple gaps exist at this time in the area of child online safety, protection, and reporting of abuse in Nigeria. This discussion aims to properly spell out recommendations for shared responsibility of the huge task of keeping the Nigerian child safe on the internet, and the strategic multi-stakeholder model of bottom-up approach needs to be widely integrated into efforts being made to achieve the aim. And some of these efforts are knowledge, awareness, law enforcement, policies, response mechanism, and support system. And support system. It is also evident, due to the diversity of these gaps, multiple stakeholder groups are needed to sufficiently get them closed. We have identified that there are gaps, but what we also want to do is not to complain about these gaps, but also get them to the field, right? So the next panel will attempt to do all of that. And that's why the panel also consists of people from various aspects of the Nigerian state. Moderating this session will be Mr. Adebomi Akimbo. He's the CEO of DMS Africa and is the current Vice President of Internet Society Nigeria Chapter. He will be joining us virtually. Let's put our hands together for him, please. Yeah, all of these speakers have very daunting portfolios, but for time, right? That's why we're not reading out all of the portfolios. So please, it is not an oversight, it's just because we're trying to be on time with it. But I tell you, everybody who has spoken here today has earned their right to be here, and even much more than that. So thank you so much. Our second panel, the first person on the panel is Dr. Nnenna Ndubekalu. She's the head of the Department of Pediatrics, Federal Medical Center in Meta, Lagos. Please, let's clap for her. She had to come in all the way from. Please don't be tired of clapping, don't worry. Yeah, thank you so much. So she represents a legacy of something that we are celebrating. Remember, this is called Ndubekalu Foundation, right? And so this is Mrs. Ndubekalu, right? And I just want to say that thank you so much, Ma, for the opportunity to be here today. And thank you for all the work that you're doing. Thank you so much. The second person on this panel is Dr. Am I correct? Olusegun Olubile. He's the President, Global Network for Cyber Solution. And like Mrs. Iduma recognized him and said he was one of the first people who started the NIGF. And he has stayed consistent over the years. NIGF is Nigerian Internet Governance Forum. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Okay. All right. We also have Jutta Kroll. He's a member of the board, National Coalition Child Rights in Germany. That's another virtual panelist who will also be joining us. And lastly, we have Busayo Balogun. She's the head of corporate services in NIRA. I think she's also joining us virtually. She's scheduled to join us virtually. So thank you so much. Technical, can you confirm to us that we have the virtual participants sorted now? Is that correct? So it's okay. Let's see them. Let them tell us that they're here too. So please, can we see the virtual participants? Because like I said, the moderator is virtually connecting to this conference, so I need to hand over officially to him so that we can take the panel. So please, let's be patient. Let's just wait. Let's be sure that they are here. All right, so.
Anyway, that is night and good evening. But aren't you the kind of people of farm loud and clear? Coming from the closeness of two systems we've had this year, Foundation Lab Foundation, and also after that, on site, of course, I will recognize Thank you so much for being on site. And the second person, Olusegun Olubile. For updates, in this content of in cruise, we are on cruise. Okay, while cruise is trying to get steam technical. National Coalition on Children's Rights. Okay, so moving on, I will be and the head is up. Okay, without wasting too much time. My first round of questions, I will be starting with I will be trying to have the privilege of So I will be asking you, what's intervention? What's intervention? What education are we Dr. Inena, you have the floor. Did you get the question? Okay, for those of us online, I think we are disconnected from the main lab that is actually feeding information to the all. So please exercise some patience. I think technical will be on it and they will be getting back to us as soon as possible.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a medical doctor, and so I'm sure some of you are wondering what is a doctor doing in an IT conversation. I actually also wondered the same thing when I first saw my name on that panelist thing, but I'll let you know what doctors can do in this kind of conversation, because a lot of times when we're having meetings, and Mrs. Uduma is saying DNX and all those things.
Are you hearing me now?
It's like just flying over my head.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
But doctors have a role to play.
We're still waiting for someone on ground to connect us. Madam Fire Balogun, please, can you switch on the camera?
My camera is on.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was actually looking at the wrong view.
My camera is on, but I think we are disconnected from the on-site participants. I just asked, and they said they cannot hear us. So I think it's only people online that can actually hear us right now. So I think we are disconnected from the
Okay, so I'll just go on. I wanted to say two things. I don't know if it can be muted.
I think we are back, they can hear us now. We just need
Okay, so I was going to say two things before I come to the role of the healthcare professional. Based on the last discussion, I just wanted to say something to the children. Your parents, whether they're your best friends or not, they have your best interests at heart. So whether you think they love you or not, they actually love you. And so if you have issues, please open up to them. Then the second thing I wanted to say, and it has also to do with multi-stakeholders, is that I heard a lot of what the NATIP boss said, and I'm wondering, why is these things not out there in the media? Why are we not hearing that people are being prosecuted? Things? Because if it's out there in the media, it will serve as a deterrent to some people, and it will also, give confidence to other children that this shouldn't happen to me. So I think that this thing should be out there in the media. Okay, coming back to the role of the healthcare professional. So in medicine, we want to prevent rather than cure. And that's why we hear that phrase, prevention is better than cure. So how do we prevent? For us, that is what we think about. How do we prevent children from even getting to the point where they are abused? Because that is the best thing to do. And it comes from education. We've talked a lot about awareness. And honestly, what we find in the community, I belong to some smaller communities of women, parents and all that. And what we find is that they're not even aware that there are dangers that their children face when they are online, when they go onto the internet.
So their own is just to buy the gadgets, give it out to the children, and then that's all. There's no control, there's no regulation. They don't know that children can actually have these problems online. You know, we're talking about the entire society. Sometimes when we have these kind of conversations, it looks as if we're talking to ourselves, people of a particular class or something, people who are aware. But a lot of people are not aware. Even in big cities like Lagos, a lot of people are not aware of these things. And so children, there's nothing, preventing them from going online. There's nothing preventing them from being exposed to these things. So prevention is key. How do we play that role? Parents must be aware. How do we get out this information to parents so that they know that if my child is going online, there's danger. And I, as the parent, am the one who should be in the best position, at least initially, to stop it. Okay? So another thing that we will do is, also in line with prevention, is to, whenever we meet, we have visits from patients. As much as possible, we're to educate them so that they know what they're doing. But it is not, if I'm running a busy clinic, how many parents can I talk to about online abuse and all that? So it is not sufficient. It is actually not sufficient. But mainly what we're involved in is in managing the condition when it now happens. How do you identify the symptoms? How do you know that a child is being abused online? Because the truth, as much as we don't want children to go to that line, the truth is that most children will not tell anybody what is going on. They won't tell anybody, and the parents may notice something, but they don't know, they can't connect the dots to know that, okay, this is what the problem is. So some of the symptoms that the children will present with is withdrawal. So you see a child who was previously outgoing, had friends and all that, suddenly the child is keeping to herself, doesn't want to, interact with people, living at home, keeps to herself or himself and all that. Another thing that happens is that they can present with what we call psychosomatic illnesses. So you see a child, and I've seen one or two, who they were brought to the clinic, they were having signs of heart disease. So they were fainting spells, they were having fast heart rates and all that. And we did all the investigations and we did not find anything to, suggest that they were physically ill. But when we, dug further, we found that they were being bullied at school. And this is the same way that children who are being bullied online or who are having issues online will present with psychosomatic illnesses that has no, bearing. And it's very common with teenagers. Very, very common with teenagers. Some even have, suicidal thoughts. I've seen a 12-year-old who had suicidal thoughts, had written a suicide note for her parents because she was being bullied at school. It's not different from what will happen if they're having problems online. Something else that happens with children who face these things is that you may notice that they're getting gifts. You as a parent, you didn't buy this thing for this child, but they're getting gifts from where you don't know and all that. So those are some of the things that parents should look out for. Parents are, I would say, in my opinion, are the major stakeholders in this business, and the children themselves. And I'm glad that some of the children are here. So you're being exposed to these things. You know the symptoms now. If you notice it in your friend, you have also, have the responsibility to report. Another thing that we do is advocacy. I know that medical in Pediatric Association, we've done a lot of advocacy that led to, for example, inclusion of vaccines, inclusion of some vaccines into the national schedule. Why? Because we were able to say, okay, these are the most common diseases that cause this and this and that. And then we put pressure on the government and they included those vaccines. So advocacy is something that healthcare providers as a whole can provide to help deal with this child online abuse. Another thing is then the mental health support. A lot of children who will have these issues, the problem is with mental health. They will not manifest, I've mentioned some of them, they will manifest with physical illnesses.
So the mental health support should be there. At this time, as I speak, there is nothing, I don't know, I'm not completely aware, but there's nothing structured that, for example, online, these are the numbers you can call where you can get mental health support or anything. Nothing structured. But when they come to the clinic, to the hospital, then we're able to provide such treatment for them. So mental health support is very, very key. Another thing is research. In medicine, we take decisions based on information, based on data that is available to us. And one thing I'll say about research into this thing, I'm not sure that there is much that has been done. I looked online and didn't really find much. We cannot afford to just make assumptions and say, use studies from elsewhere and say that this is what happens here in our own environment. We need to research. What is the prevalence of this child online abuse? How frequent is it? How prevalent is it is it occurring? And when it's occurring, what are the types? Is it sexual exploitation? Is it radicalization? What is it? So this will help us, to even make recommendations, treat the children better, and all of that. So I think that in this discussion of stakeholders, the healthcare professional is really a major stakeholder. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you very much for that. I also want to appreciate the audience for their patience. For those of us who are online, we will get over this. Moving on, I will be calling on Dr. Tristan Cruz, who is from the Child Digital Rights, to be talking about the mitigation that the organizations have been doing when it comes to digital commons and also interventions in ensuring rural participation. Mr. Tristan, you can hear that. You have the floor. Tristan Cruz.
It's me? Okay, thank you so much for inviting me, and it's a really it's great pleasure for me to participate in your valuable summit. I hope you can hear me loud and clear and could follow my thoughts that I will share with you. The General Comment 25, the United Nations Committee of the Right of the Child declared that state parties should ensure that all children have an equal and effective access to the digital environment in ways that are meaningful for them. That includes providing free and safe access for children in dedicated public locations and investing in policies and programs as described in paragraph 9 of the General Comment 25. That means that state parties are obliged to realize meaningful access where people come together. But therefore it is necessary to know where children and young people come together and go online. But to answer this question, it is not possible without asking the children themselves, because they know where these dedicated public locations are them for this. And it's important to identify the people who have a voice in rural areas, who are listened to and who can use their impact in a positive way. These people should be partners when it comes to providing meaningful access to online activities. But I think it's also necessary that we have an eye on what kind of access children use. And therefore we have to differentiate this kind of access. Then it's necessary to differentiate between fixed LAN access at home, for example, or in a community center or in school, or if you use a mobile access. But why we have to differentiate this? I think it becomes clear that when children are using the internet and digital environments at home or in a community center, then they are often not alone. There are adults around them, there are parents, there are pedagogical staff who can control or maybe escort their usage of the internet and digital environment, and they could be in a partnership. They can be interested, they can see what they are doing, they can discuss with children about their experience when they are in a trustful relationship. But when children go online by themselves, then we have not this control or escortship of a parental or adult person. So when they use mobile access, it becomes clear, right, it's not just a matter of training the children, the parents or the educational professionals and teaching them media skills, but when they're using the mobile access, then it becomes clear that design of the services plays a key role in ensuring that children can use it safely and free from risk and have an enjoyable online experience. So it is a shared responsibility between awareness raising, of course, as well as media literacy, but also the duty of care by the service providers are going hand in hand. They have a strong responsibility, and we must make them to take them in account to realize this responsibility and create safe services for children, so that we mitigate the risk that they get harmed, that they have uncomfortable situations, and if it comes in the end to these situations, then we need mechanisms to report this illegal behavior, maybe, or illegal content, or if they are targeted in a violence or abuse matter. So therefore, it is important to have reporting centers and contact persons, and to make them also known. It makes no sense if you have this hotline and nobody knows about this hotline. So often young people do not always want to contact the police directly or law enforcement, and we therefore need trustworthy centers that can help them make these contacts and also advise children and youth. There are many ways to report online abuse in Germany or in Europe, for example, and various hotlines are offered by different organizations and of the federal state, for example, to receive reports of problems, but it's also available to call to hotlines which are organized by other organizations, by NGOs, or also by the economy themselves. However, studies show that it's not only the reporting, but also the way in which it is handled, the processing of the progress, and trust in the work of the organization is therefore essential, that the reporting person are informed about what is being done with their report and how the process is progressing. And this information should be passed on promptly, so that the children who calls the hotline want to know what has happened with my complaint, what are the adults are doing now, and take their care that it could not be happen again. It is also known from the day-to-day work of the hotline that it's effective not only to work with the official law enforcement authorities and assign reports regionally, for example, but also to make a direct contact from the hotline to the provider of the relevant service or website, because this approach often proves to be effective as the work and expertise of the hotlines is recognized by the service providers, and the hotlines know the contact persons by the providers, so that the service can raise the issue directly. While hotlines are there to report specific violence or offenses, there is often a need for advice or counseling when children or young people experience, say, uncomfortable situations online. These situations do not always have to be illegal or violent. Nevertheless, it is important that young people can get support and receive counseling in these cases, so that they can talk about what they have experienced, that they get help and be able to classify the situation for themselves. We call this helplines in differentiation to hotlines. for illegal content and behavior, and helplines more as a kind of counseling. And there exist helplines which are run by adults, and also which are run by young persons themselves, because that's a major advantage, because young persons as advisor know best which apps or games their peers use, what they particularly enjoy, but also which problems they are confronted with online. However, these scouts, to be able peers in the best possible way, they need support of the full-time team, of the professionals in the background, and these scouts are often teenagers or young adults, and they are undergo a multi-stage training program in which they are learned the most important basics for volunteering in this online advice service from the adult experts. But to wrap it up, I would say it's a shared responsibility between the media literacy, the awareness raising, but also the responsibility of the services to take precautionary measures, to have a duty of care, and to roll out a really meaningful reporting system. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for that, Torstein. Thank you so much for that. It's interesting to know that what Dr. has also mentioned when it came to helpline is very impactful and also related to research. And thank you for trying to differentiate between what the other line is and what the helpline is. And it's a way for this intervention. Moving forward, I will be reaching out to you with intervention. Moving forward, we'll be expecting you to approach from the IT sector, and also looking at the critical proposals, what that be doing now, a form of intervention in responding as a stakeholder. Over to you, Mr. Shegun.
Hello. Please, will you permit me to stand up? I've been sitting down since. Chairman, can I stand up? Thank you. With my own way. Can we stretch our hands a little bit, please? Because it's not easy. Thank you very much. And let me go there a little bit. Thank you, ma'am. Please, I want us to be practical here. I'm a father and I have kids. Thank you, ma'am, for this program. It's a very nice program. I'm not just happy that NCC has gone, LEADER has gone, and who again? They have gone. Honestly speaking, I'm not happy. But for those that are looking at us online, if you are the officers, if you are part of the LEADER or NCC and all that, please take this message back to them. Someone needs to be held responsible for protecting and safeguarding our children when it comes to the online protection. And I think we have done this several years back. We have been on this journey since 2002 or 10, if I'm correct. Now, my intervention will be coming in from the regulator. Children, please let me call it regulator. Regulator. Why am I saying this? We don't even need to start looking for a law to arrest those that are posting content, illicit content, or whatever content. All we need is that the regulator should stand up and regulate the service provider. Regulate service provider at the intersection of their relationship with the regulator. The duty of care is universal. The content, they have responsibility to regulate content. Let me give an example. Facebook will not pursue you or I. But when you post something on Facebook that has to do with terrorism, whatever, you will discover that Facebook will put them down instantly, despite the fact that they have over billions of users. You know why? You can tell me why. Because if they don't do it, the regulator in US will sanction them. So this is where we talk about accountability. Who should be held responsible? Not the children. We can talk about the parents. Yeah, they have a duty of care to groom and to mentor their kids and all that. We can talk about the teachers. Honestly speaking, they are trying their best to. It's not easy to be a teacher. Yes, sir. Hello, can we clap for our teachers? And I can tell you, it's not also easy for the parents. I'm a father. I have to go to the farm to go and work and look for money. Abima. And I come back, I'm so tired. And the mom in the house, my mother told me that housework never finishes. Abima, you keep on doing. Now, another housework that has been handed to our mothers is a digital responsibility to ensure that the kids solve the internet responsibly. This is where I will take on the other side. What do we do about digital mothers? As you are focusing on the digitalization of the children, digital literacy, what about the mothers that are not digitally illiterate, or literate rather? So I think there's a need for us to have a broad framework or interventions on digital family, which is all inclusive. Are you listening to me? When you have digital family framework, you are not only going to talk about the girls, you are not going to talk about the boys, you talk about the fathers, mothers, uncle, whatever, plus the kids. They will have a responsibility to do what? To engage in digital literacy. That is what I believe that should be the beginning of awareness. Family, that is digital literacy at the center of the family development. Whether you like it or not, you can't control the children. I did something of recent. I've been keeping phone away from my kids because I really want us to be practical. No be so. But these kids, sincerely speaking, they are too curious. You can't beat them to it. And then I devised a way to beat them to it. You will soon clap for me. You know what I did? I went to the farm, I made good money, and I decided to buy phone for everybody. I said, now, let me buy the phone so that someone else somewhere would not deceive you to say that you are too beautiful, you are the most beautiful. To express my love, I need to buy you a phone. Clap for me, please. Are you following me? I bought the phones. They are very happy, they are jubilating. I said, you know what? Only one condition. All of you must open Google Gmail. Now, they didn't know where I'm going. Now, all of them open the Gmail. We celebrated it. They said, now you guys can solve. They solved. Now, we need to create a family account. And he said, yeah, it's good, I said, now let me draw your email into my family account. Then it came, I think we got to a level where I need to start regulating the apps, the ways and manner on how you solve the internet. Say, daddy, abba, daddy, you don't want me to download YouTube? Well, no, you download YouTube. I can only give you 2 hours, and I need not to pursue you. You know what I did? I let download family link. Gmail, call it again. Family what? Link. If you like, go and do the expose to your parents. No problem. No. To your friends. No problem. Now, we configure it. Now, the parents, we came to the level of the kids. We are part of the surfing. We are part of the lifestyles and culture and trends. And when they are about to go off the track, we will see. And sometimes I will switch them off right from my office. And they will call me. You know, this WhatsApp is not good though, sometimes. They will pursue me with WhatsApp. There's one way, Daddy, you have not given me the permission to do my assignment. That is the trick. They will tell you assignment. Once they give you the assignment, parents, you have to struggle to now strike the balance whether to do the assignment or to do the other side. So what am I talking about? It is essential that the family take the leadership of the digital life, digital development, digital trends and lifestyles. If you don't do it right under your nose, your child will be recruited, your child will be brainwashed, and your child will be transformed to something else. That's number 2. Number 3, the schools. This is when leader is very important. I really want to emphasize it that please, leaders should focus on IT development, and they should use creative regulations to drive development in our schools. You only need to give a directive. All school in Nigeria should have internet-enabled computers. If you don't have it, there will be sanctions. Wait and see whether the private sector will not move in. Then secondly, you only need to issue the guidelines and duty of cares and responsibility in which the principal will be the chief account officer. If the computer is misused, then we know the person to hold responsible. Number what? Number 2. Number 3, NCC at the intersection of the operators when they are doing their lances. Operators don't joke with lances. All you need to do, follow our guidelines, ethical guidelines, and ensure that all your operators remove illicit content and communication from the system. If they don't do it, you do what? You sanction them. What I'm saying is that if you don't have enforcement with sanctions, we are joking. Child online protection is a very serious national threat to the security of the family, threat to the security of the nation, and threat to the digital economy. So I will leave you with this. But from the context of national cyber security policy issues or the so-called cyber whatever law, I thank God that our mommy here was saying yesterday, was able to provide a voice that the child online protection should be expanded. So please, children, you also have a responsibility. The weakest link in all these things is you. So I will leave you there. Thank you very much. And I need to run now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Practical explanation to parent needs and having said that, okay. So actually, having said that, I'm a bit in the area of the world report since the beginning of this summit. And because a lot of people have spoken about reports, we want to look at the legal implication, the risk.
we apologize for all the technical issues. It appears that the technical problem is prevalent inside this hall, because I'm following them online and I can hear some of the things that they're saying. So, technical team, please confirm to us what the issue is and how we can quickly resolve it. Moderator online, if you can hear me, we're having technical problems. We cannot receive feed from you. And I know that I can hear Madam Musaya still speaking. So, we need to try and resolve that. So everybody in the hall, apologies, sincere apologies for all of these technical issues. Please just be patient. We will decide whether or not to just go ahead or to find another way to route the people speaking online. I'm monitoring on my tab. I can hear them speak, but I don't know why you can't get transmission inside this call. So please, let us just be patient. Moderator, please advise on how you want us to move forward from here. We cannot hear you from inside here. So I guess that the problem is just inside this place, because online they seem to be able to hear. So I'll wait for the moderator. Please let us just give us a few minutes. I'll wait for the moderator to advise on how to end the session. Thank you very much.
Recording in progress. Can you confirm that you can hear us?
Loud and clear. Can hear you now. We couldn't hear you before. Can hear you now. So just
we can't hear you now. We can't hear you. We could hear you before, but we can't hear you now.
It's technical. It's technical.
We can hear you now.
All right.
Can you confirm that you can hear us?
Okay, so moderator, yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me clearly too?
We can't hear you now.
Okay, so we apologize to you, our virtual participants, and even our dear moderator. It appears that the problem is inside this room, so it is not your fault. However, it is also rubbing off on you at the moment. So what we will do is we'll just take some questions, hoping that by the time we are done, because the students have burning questions they want to ask, hoping that in the next, say, 5 minutes, this should have been resolved so that you can finish and round up your session. I hope that is fine, so that we don't keep waiting perpetually. So students, please, if you have any questions, can you just file up there? Please come forward and quickly ask your questions, straight to the point, introduce yourself, then straight to your question. We'll just use that while we wait for the technical team to try and resolve this sound issue. If it is not resolved, I think that we'll just call it a day from there. Please move forward. Students, quickly, just come forward. If you have questions you would like to ask, please come forward to ask your question. Please, let's put our hands together for her as she steps forward. Is she the only one who has a question? No other person wants to ask anything? All right, so thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. My name is Orizira, so I'm from Government Secondary School at Paris Settlement. So my question goes to Mr. Titus. So please, how can we help to secure online for underage students? How can we secure our online usage for underage students? Like, for instance, we use the internet for a lot of reasons, for school activities and other things, but different images can pop up while they know that they are underage students, because when we are registering our Google accounts, we put our ages, which they know we are underage, but then it still appears. Those bad sites, they still pop up. So how can we help to stop it, to know how, to know that these are underage students, so that it won't appear?
All right, thank you so much. Please just clap for her, please. It's not easy to articulate your question like that. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My question is in twofold. The first question goes to Mrs. Wumi. She spoke, when she was in the panel, she spoke something concerning the difference between ICT skills and digital skills. I was not really clear about that. Then the second question is, to anyone, talks about how do you protect your digital footprint
Okay. All right, thank you. Let's put our hands together for Ruby. Going. Yeah, of course. Okay, so for the person who asked Mr. Titus is not here physically, but I'm sure there are members of the panel who can address your question. So please, maybe we'll take Madam Omi's response first, while the other panelists warm up to help Mr. Titus with answering his question. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. So sorry we didn't have time, so I couldn't be enumerating the differences. I will just use a few topics to differentiate to you. And like I said, it would be nice for me to have the teachers just to send this to you, and it will be a good guide. When you talk about ICT knowledge, it encompasses things like business administration. What can you do with businesses in IT? It includes generic qualifications like talking about what is it about studies, what you should learn, technology studies, like what we call STEM now. These careers and fields you can study. And then it talks about manufacturing, engineering, and construction. And of course, ICT. What we're talking about ICT now is information and communications technology. That's a general knowledge about ICT knowledge. What do you know how to do in all of those areas? But when we talk about digital skills, we are looking at assistive skills. Skills that, I don't know, we don't really have time. Information skills, like data processing that you are learning in school, which is one of them. We have management skills, working with the computers, not just knowing what is computer, what is hardware, really knowing what hardware really means. In other words, if they put you in a room with mobile phone, with a laptop, you can open it up, you can decipher the different parts, you can understand how they are working. These are very critical skills that are digital skills. And then we know about the what we call the productivity tools. Productivity tools are Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You know, this is very critical because today most organizations like ours, we are emphasizing on those skills. I remember graduating in the university as a computer science graduate, and the very first job I applied to, they didn't ask me what is algorithm, they didn't ask me what is pseudocode, they didn't ask me what is syntax. Those are the things that were in my mind. They didn't ask me what does it mean to code. They just gave me a computer and they asked me to type and format whatever I've done. So if you don't have productivity tools learning, if you don't understand Microsoft Word, if you don't understand how to do Excel, of course I failed. I didn't fail because I didn't know how to type, but I wasn't able to manage my time. That was why I couldn't finish. So most of these things are very essential, and they are the digital skills we need to learn. Then communication skills. That's why I took my time to list out a few of those things to us. Some of the communication skills that we need to have is about interacting with ICT, sharing through ICT platform, engaging with citizenship, collaborations, and then collaborations that are, these days we talk about etiquette in IT, which is called netiquette. Netiquette. Netiquette is about what we've been talking about. What should we do online? What should you not do online? As we are in this house, some people would have taken pictures and said, see me at Merit House, Maitama, Abuja, and maybe somebody has been trailing you, standing at the gate, waiting for you to come out. You shouldn't do that. Am I communicating? When people see a post from me, from you, after now, you should do when you are already in your house, sleeping. So if somebody is looking for you in Merit House, the person has done what? Missed it. These are very important things you need to do. And then we need to manage our digital identity. I think that's a digital footprint. There are some of us mistakenly, you have sent some pictures out, and they always say that internet don't forget. You can delete it and you think it is over, but somewhere, somehow, it is stored somewhere. So the first instance, as we were here, I was sharing with her, I just saw a post, 300 level girl in Port Harcourt just got murdered yesterday. because she left the campus and went to a boyfriend's house, and from there, all those things that they have said. So girls especially, can I beg you that you don't go to anywhere you don't know who it is, even when you know. And I always say this at our events. I said to girls don't have boyfriend. Hello, school girls, am I communicating?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? It is not yet your age to have boyfriend. Don't let anybody, because some of these things we need to start spelling it out. Don't have anybody, even though your friend in class. There's no time for boyfriend. You are only school friends. Is that okay? And when you want to learn, you are learning as a group. Don't learn with anybody alone. Don't learn with anybody alone. One uncle is looking at my eyes like, what are you saying? Don't let anybody, even teacher, if a teacher wants to teach you and is teaching you alone, don't allow it. It's very, very important because we have a lot of pedophiles now, and all of those things are starting from all this environment. And teachers, please help us to say it again and again to your colleagues. Don't do it alone. The girl is good, she's bright. Look for a way to protect her, don't destroy her. God will help us. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, ma'am, for that response. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. So we have to stop the panel now because of the time constraints that we have. And we have students in our midst and they need to go. So we're rounding up now. So thank you so much to everybody who has spoken today. It's been an interactive session. We have learned a lot. And I hope that we take everything that we have learned here and that we make the best and the most out of it. Right? So thank you to all the speakers who have spoken. Thank you to the students who have been very patient and they have been very, very resilient and listening. I hope you took note and I hope that we make the best out of it, like I said earlier. We are going to invite Mr. Adishola Kisoya now for the closing remarks. He's the NERA president. Thank you, sir. NERA president, sir. Please, your closing remarks. Thank you so much. Please, let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you very much. I hope children, I hope you have learned one or two things that you can take home right now. Yes, that's good. So, and I hope you'll be looking forward to the next edition of COSPRA. My duty here is actually a simple one, is to give the closing remark. And part of what has been resounding to everyone is that it's a shared responsibility. If you all will agree with me, we have that of the parents, we have that of the stakeholders, we have that of you and me, the civil society, the government. It's a shared responsibility, and which we all must take our part. And it will equally go a long way if like I said, it's a shared responsibility. Everybody, it's you, it is me. Look yourself in the mirror. It's about you and it's about me to make the whole internet safe. And we want to just thank everybody that's equally sacrificed their time for coming here. We want to thank the chairperson of NKF, Mama Internet, like she had given herself now. Not it was formerly Mama Nira, now it's Mama Internet. So thank you very much. The invited guests, I cannot equally mention everybody's name that have come, that have left, all the government stakeholders that were here, NIDA, NATI, the civil society, all our panelists. We appreciate you for coming. And please, anytime we call upon you, please just do the honors to equally accept and come and give us, make the occasion a resounding one. So they're just my parting shots. Thank you very much. And have a safe trip back to your various destinations. Thank you.
so much. So we just have a resolution documentation from our rapporteurs in a few minutes. So please, representative from the rapporteurs, we need to come talk to us and tell us some of the resolutions we've reached after spending this number of hours in this conference. So thank you. So let's put our hands together as we invite a representative of the rapporteurs. Please keep clapping. They are still, Thank you. So please, can you make your way to the stage now? Thank you so much. Yeah. Put you on the spot. All right. So we're there. We're almost there. Say 10 minutes we're out of here. So the rapporteur, please. Who's our representative? Okay, so if they're not ready now, the report will be published online. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll share to all the schools and we'll publish online. Thank you so much. And so we have come to the end of the COSPRA 2023 Summit. Yeah, thank you. So thank you everybody. Thank you to the students. You guys are very resilient and you are really very, very, very well behaved. So thank you so much for being here today. Yeah. And also thank you to the teachers who also just helping them and guiding them. Let's give them to teachers. Let's clap for the teachers. Yes. And to every partner, to NCC, to NIDA, to NAPTIP, to every other person, FCT, Secondary Education Board, and everybody here, and to all the corporate organizations and private institutions that were here, to students, to aunties and uncles who have come to encourage us. Thank you so much for being here. To NIRA, of course, and to the NKF. We hope that we have learned a lot today, and we pray that God takes everybody to their various destinations safely. And we also hope that we stay safe online, and we continue to advocate for safety online. So I also want to thank God Almighty for making all of this possible, for just helping us to be here today. My name again is Chinwe Obuja. Thank you so much for indulging me. You've been a wonderful audience. And do have yourselves a wonderful evening. Lunch is served to students first. So please, let's allow the students to exit first. Yes, we are generational thinkers. So let's clap for them around to exit. So thank you very much for attending COSPRA 2023. All the best. See you next year. Thank you so much.